Quality, innovation, respect, and integrity. Take steps to invest in your career. International Management Consultancy is the leading global marketplace for learning and instruction, helping professionals across the industry to develop skills and expertise to get recognition and growth in the corporate world. We are one of the leading training providers and gradually spreading our training facility amongst candidates based at different geographies, such as Canada, United States of America, United Arab Emirates, Saudi, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, Lebanon, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, India, and many other countries across the globe. IMC is accredited by the highest industry standards. We put in the efforts and we work to prove our commitment to offering our clients only the best and of superior quality. With a uniquely immersive curriculum that combines live instruction from the leading experts, peer-to-peer collaboration, on-demand lessons, unlimited online trainings, and 24/7 learning support. IMC helps over thousands of professionals learn their skills needed to advance their careers and reach their full potential. In line with our commitment to excellence, IMC offers a number of training courses preparing professionals for certifications and exams given by the international associations in areas like management, finance and accounting, human resources, sales and marketing, quality administration, and as well as project management. By fully attending these courses and successfully completing the requirements of the certifying body, participants will receive a special certificate which recognizes their dedication and commitment and in many cases help them earn valuable continuing education credit. IMC Consultants has been working together with their clients from various industries in aligning their people and processes to compete through high speed, excellent quality, and low cost. We strongly believe that the key to our success is our total commitment in delivering value to our clients based on integrity, honesty, and openness. If you are uncertain about which roles or skills are best for you, hurry! Come visit our website or talk to our expert education consultants today. Take a step, invest in your future, empower your knowledge, and be one of our success stories. International Management Consultancy, excellence is what we deliver.
Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you're able to get an idea and know who is International Management Consultancy and our services. Before I formally introduce our trainer for today, you guys might be thinking of what you will learn from this session. Hence, I'd like to give a few points if what are the takeaways that you will get from today's Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt training and its benefits. You'll know how to define and understand quality concepts and the evolution of Lean Six Sigma, discuss Six Sigma and benefits to sustain business improvement, explain the role of Six Sigma in customer service and continual improvement, apply and implement the defined measure, analyze, improve, and control problem-solving methodology, examine the statistical background supporting Six Sigma projects, compare between the various tools usually used in a Six Sigma project, and explain how to deploy Six Sigma and assess organization readiness to launch a successful Six Sigma project. And here's to let you know the major benefits of getting a Lean Six Sigma certification and training. First, having the certification will provide you an endorsement to employers that you have an explicit skill set because competition for employment can be severe. So by having proof that you have awareness and you can apply Lean Six Sigma, it can set you apart from the crowd. Second, certified Lean Six Sigma professionals get good chance of growing to senior managerial positions. And third, certified professionals are amongst the highest paid professionals globally. And last, This is applicable to all types of industries. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you all our Lean Six Sigma expert for today. He is a Delhi University graduate with over 20 years of diversified experience in operations, project management, operational excellence, audit, training, quality, and compliance, with over 150 plus customized trainings conducted to corporates on Lean Six Sigma. He is an approved trainer of Activate, or the Abu Dhabi Center for Technical and Vocational Education and Training. He also catered major institutions such as Qatar University, Indian Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of Management, and many more. Please all welcome Mr. Shashi Prakash. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Michelle. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. From my side, you're audible.
Perfect. In the meantime, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone. Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because we got people from every part of the globe. So I would like to thank every one of you for taking out your valuable time on your weekend, and trust that's very difficult to do. So I would like to kind of make sure that, yes, this is a memorable experience, that the time that you are investing here, you take away the value add, which is going to help you throughout your career. So with Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt training and certification, yes, there's a lot more we can do. And yes, we will be able to explore what this Lean Six Sigma is all about. So just allow me a quick moment while I share my screen, and we can get going. All right. So before I proceed, there are a few things I really want to talk about before we actually get going with the content, talk about the basic nitty-gritties of your Lean Six Sigma as such. Well, while you were watching that video, the introduction video of IMC, I'm sure you must have seen that certificate which was displayed. So there are a few important things out of that certificate I really want to talk about before we actually deep dive into the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt part. Now, when we do these Lean Six Sigma projects, like, so whether I'm doing a project, or for that matter, any Lean Six Sigma professional is doing a project, when we generally talk to various corporates, recruiters across the globe, first thing first, what matters is where have you done it from? Does it make a difference? Definitely yes. So your certificate carries a lot of weightage. Where have you done it from? Every recruiter, every corporate wants to definitely look into it. And on those grounds, IMC has covered all the bases. Well, if you, I'm sure you will be able to get a copy of a sample certificate also. But in that video, well, if you look at the certificate that you get from IMC, it has got few accreditations, global accreditations from Lean Six Sigma institute, like bodies which are into certifying role. So we have IASSC, which is UK-based certifying body for Lean Six Sigma. IMC has been approved by them. It's an affiliated partner with them. When we talk about, then there's a CPD accreditation, which is again, most of the European universities, they take CPD accreditation. IMC has been affiliated with them as well. Then we talk about IQF, International Quality Federation, which is USA based. Again, IMC, all these also accredited with them. And finally, the Council for Six Sigma Certification, which is USA based. Again, so when you talk about these global bodies, technically IMC has been approved and affiliated with them. It talks about the weightage. We've been able to maintain that standard. And yes, when you get your certificate, you see these global accreditations endorsed on your certificate. So that from the credibility, reliability part of it, well, that takes care of it. So IMC's certificate has been used by a lot of government, corporates across the globe. They love it. So on those grounds, the reliability part, well, that's where it scores 100 out of 100, I would say. The second part which comes in is the knowledge that you carry. Well, you sit through a job interview. Most of the recruiters globally have a big disconnect nowadays, and will say they're very, very choosy. They're very, very particular about what kind of people they want to hire, what kind of skill set I want to see when I'm hiring a Lean Six Sigma professional. Because as a Lean Six Sigma professional, you're supposed to solve like massive business problems, big concerning problems for an organization. You will be a change agent in the organization. So when, and then this is the biggest dissatisfaction of the recruiters, that We've got people who have taken up trainings, they've mugged up some topics, they've written an exam, they've passed the exam. That's it. Their knowledge is theoretical. So when it comes to real world application of that knowledge, that's where there is a big gap. Well, you ask them to write, like ask a question, probably give them some question, they will be able to solve it because they've mugged up some topics. I may have learned about 30, 40 different topics, but when it comes to real world application, the transition of theory to practical, that's where the biggest gap lies. I don't know when to use which tool. If I am not able to use a particular tool for analysis, which other alternatives are available with me? What will be the right sequence of those tools? Well, the transition is missing. So people have got more of a theoretical knowledge and not the practical aspect of it. And that's where the biggest gap lies. So a lot of people end up taking up trainings and certification, but that's never goes into real world application. They're not able to practice it and trust. It's not the fault of the people. It's the fault the way it's been taught. The training methodology, so it's not to blame anyone. See, if I teach you theory and expect you to do practical, it's unfair on my part. So as a Lean Six Sigma practitioner, I do practice all these things, what I'm talking about, and a lot of people are like us. So we are not just trainers. Yes, training happens to be a part of it, but we do it. We do these things. So we have trained, we changed the methodology of training. And that's where the IMC certificate has got even more credibility in the market, because people who have taken up the trainings from IMC are able to execute the project in real world. The entire project is a training, is a project-based model training. So you end up understanding like how you start a project and how you end the project. What will be the sequence of topics, how one topic gets connected with another. So how you start the project and end it. So there's no gap in terms of understanding the concept. And the best form of learning is the experiential learning. You don't have to mug up anything. When you do it, you know it how it needs to be done. You don't have to memorize anything. Best form of learning is just do it. Do it yourself. You don't have any more burden to memorize it. And on those grounds, I really want to talk about this one for sure. Yes, by having said that, when you get certificates, you get two certificates, not one. One is the certificate from IMC, another certificate from CPD, UK. So you get dual certification and both have lifetime validity. So there's no hassle of renewal ever again. Once you're done, you're done. Bottom line, you're certified. You don't have to pay any more extra charges ever for any renewal stuff. So that's a big relief in terms of validity of certificate part. Now, talking about the project-based model, here I really want to talk about, because that's the knowledge you carry. So technically, people who complete the training with us, they go through a project-based model. We understand how it's done. Once you write the exam, you get certification done. Post your certification is done, we encourage participants to do a project. Now, we give data for people to participate. And yes, the participants do engage with the trainers and they work on a project. And for that, you get an extra certificate, which is a project completion certificate. So you just don't, and because you learned how to do it and the training was in a project-based model. So if I give you data, you should be able to convert that into a project. So that's an extra activity. It's not mandatory, because writing an exam will suffice for you to get the certification done. Having said that, it's highly recommended, because you get an extra certificate, which is the clarity, which is like got a lot of like a bonus point when you sit through a job interview and you are being compared with your peers, and you have an extra certificate, which gives a lot of confidence to the recruiter that this person has passed the exam and also has demonstrated how to do this project. So let me quickly show it to you. So these projects are additional ones. Like, see, these are sample projects. So these are just received yesterday or day before, I guess, 27th. So basically, such projects are kind of people work on post completion. So participants, when they write the exam, complete the exam, then you start working on the project. So people, we work with them, and then we assign them data, we assign them projects with a problem, how you will be expected to solve a project in real world. And technically, we go through multiple reviews. So you assisted in understanding how the project needs to be done, and finally it goes through review process. That's one of it. Just wanted to show you what process do we follow. I guess there's one more here which we received yesterday itself. So there were a few projects that we keep going. So we go through review processes and we keep going through back and forth review to guide you how a real world project needs to be done. So you just don't learn. Nobody does it across the world. I can tell, I can vouch for it. Nobody does this one. You're done with the certification, you pass the exam, pretty much you paid for the training, it's done. But nobody gets you this hand holding and trust. That's what you need, because to do a real world project, you need somebody to tell you for the first time how it needs to be done. It's a practitioner job. You got to do it. You got to solve a problem, and hence you got to demonstrate. And I'll show you quick sample projects which were completed by, and these are some ones which have come for review, not yet completely finalized, because there might be some reviews which will be done. So I will be kind of looking at it. But yeah, let me quickly show you some projects which have already been submitted. Well, simulation one, let me quickly show it you. Couple of them, say, just to give a quick idea how. So this is validation. Well, you just not have mugged up the theory. Well, bottom line, you've passed the exam, but you know exactly how it needs to be done. Should you be given a project, a data, a problem in your organization, well, you know how to solve it. You give immense confidence to the recruiter that this person is a ready resource. Nobody has time. Nobody has patience to hire you and then train you and then pretty much let you experiment in the organization. People want ready material who can join the organization and start delivering from the day one. People want ready people today. Well, there's a lot of cost criteria involved in that. So recruiters are looking for people who have this level of understanding, not just an examination passing certificate. They need somebody who has demonstrated the skills of analysis, how a problem will be solved. So when you have this level of understanding, technically your interview when it's compared with others will be a lot more different. You can explain how it was done rather than telling somebody, well, how it can be done. No, how it was done. So there's a big difference in when you do this. So we provide data while you work on this. So this is one handling time project. There was, I guess, some production manufacturing related projects. So they're different data sets we work on. So pretty much people, based on their interest, they pick up the projects and then we guide them how the project, so they keep working. We do multiple reviews. So you exactly end up understanding how to deal with different kind of problems, different kind of data needs, different kind of analysis. So whatever you have learned, you're exactly able to implement that, execute it as you will be expected to do in real world. So people who have gone through the training process, they have absolutely been doing it in real world. So they have been able to utilize this. And technically, when you use Lean Six Sigma, well, there's no boundaries, no limits left. While we are talking about this, let me quickly tell you, I come from a service industry background. And today, the kind of clients I handle, well, it ranges across every possible domain that you can talk about. Oil and natural gas, constructions, data centers, healthcare, hospitality, textile industry, publication houses, tea gardens, and whatnot. You got to have a problem. I have a solution with Lean Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma has no restriction. Every industry is your industry. Should you know the concept right, there is no looking back. Well, it doesn't matter when you talk about industry, forget about departments, what background you come from, what kind of education you've got. Well, technically it doesn't matter. You should know your concept of Lean Six Sigma. Whether if you know it, you can do projects in operations, quality, trading, finance, marketing, well, whatever it may be. Well, there's so many case studies. These are case studies where Six Sigma has been implemented across, and I've started compiling it for some time now, and I'll continue to work on it. But people have actually implemented Lean Six Sigma in every possible industry. It's just that probably if you don't, I think every industry is almost covered. But yes, as and when I keep finding something better, something more interesting, which is not there, I keep on adding, and we keep sharing this. So people understand, well, the thing that we have learned is going to make you universally applicable, and you will not have no more boundaries. Well, so these are a lot of, and this list can go on and on. If you don't see a particular industry here, it's just that I have not tried to search it, because it is getting done. Everyone is doing it across the globe. Lean Six Sigma is no longer a choice. It's the need of the hour. So on that note, a quick one, last but not the least, I really want to talk about these couple of things. So we should know what we're talking about. So we've talked about the project-based module, the project completion part, case studies we talked about. So you know it is applicable globally. Apart from that, one of the most important part nowadays, today, passing an exam is just not enough. Well, when you talk about Lean Six Sigma today, when we talk about Lean Six Sigma, a Minitab is a statistical package which becomes a default requirement. Now people have to take up a Lean Six Sigma training and then go about taking up a Minitab training, because corporates are looking for people who have knowledge of working on Minitab. The de facto version of Six Sigma today is Minitab. It is the statistical software used by all the corporates today. Every corporate has to spend a lot of money. I do a lot of training for like Fortune 500 companies. I've trained Apple, Ernst & Young, Cisco, and whatnot. Practically, you name the company, I've like trained most of the Fortune 500 companies there. And I have trained a lot of people who are Six Sigma, green belts, black belts on Minitab. Well, because they have never used Minitab, and corporates have to spend a lot of money for these Minitab trainings. There's a special module. While you go through the Minitab part, you have to again take up a training. And yes, I do training for such corporates. And this is Minitab, which is how Minitab is used. Pretty much all the topics. While we do the training, while you were looking at the sample projects, we use Minitab. And so you don't have to go ever and learn Minitab, because while you're learning, why not learn it the right way? So while we do the training, while you were looking at these sample projects, they have all used Minitab, everything in used Minitab. So we do things on Excel, we do things on Minitab. So Minitab will be one of your strongest attribute, an additional knowledge, an additional skill that you'll end up learning. So all this output, all this analysis that you see is Minitab based. You must have it today when you deal with Lean Six Sigma, because corporates need it. So if you have this extra skill, well, you will be a preferred choice, because corporates will not have to put you into training. That's a very big cost when you just conduct a Minitab training. And I do a lot of such trainings for people. So if you have these additional attributes, well, definitely you will be the choice. A, you have got a passing certificate, you have got a project completion certificate, you have also understanding of working on Minitab. So all that gets added on your profile, and that's what makes it different from the rest of the league. So I would highly recommend, like, so as I said, we keep working on a lot of sample projects. We keep, depending on where various kind of industries people come from, we assign data, we work on projects, and pretty much just to make sure people can use this knowledge in real world, make a fortune out of it, because people are doing it. If we are not able to use it, the problem is with us. So yes, we try to ensure at IMC, the content is always revised, and it's not just theory. Well, theory, I understand some bit of theory is required, but you got to help people understand how to use it in real world. So a lot of work goes into it. And yes, for this additional stuff, there's no extra charges for anything for that matter. Having said that, well, you go through trainings, you can take multiple batches if you need, and there's no additional charges. But yeah, I'm sure there will be a lot of things which the IMC team can help you understand if you have more questions around it. But really want to talk about these things which are related to hardcore real world, things which are applicable to a Lean Six Sigma professional. But if there will be any other additional queries, I'm sure the concerned team will be able to answer you. Well, they will be in touch, or you can be in touch with the support team to get your questions answered. So on that note, we can get started now. But yes, I would highly request everyone, if you have a question, please do not hold it, because this investment that you're doing in terms of time is valuable. And yes, if you have a question, there's nothing called a good question or a bad question. I always say that the only bad question is the one which has not been asked. So please do not feel like whether it's a right or wrong. Don't become judgmental about a question. Question is a question and should be given a due respect to that. So yes, please post your question in the chat. I will definitely come back and answer those questions before we move from one topic to another. I will come back and answer those questions for you. Minitab is a paid software. It's very expensive, but during the training, you install a free trial version, a 30 days trial version, which is a full version. And this is how your Minitab looks like. So I will be also using Minitab. I will show you how it's practiced and some bit of activities we'll be doing on Minitab, so you understand what we end up doing in the entire curriculum. So practically we'll have a quick review of what Minitab can do. But yes, it's a paid software. Individually, people don't buy it because it's very expensive. Corporate end up buying a couple of licenses, and that's all, because you do barely need like 15-20 minutes on Minitab, you're done. It's fast, it's accurate, it prepares a report, it does everything that you can think of. So, well, but yes, for training purposes, we got 30 days of trial version, which you can install. I would highly recommend not to install Minitab just like that, because you cannot install Minitab trial version again unless you have multiple laptops and desktop. It can only be installed on a laptop or a desktop and only once. You cannot redo it. So if you intend to go for any training, please hold it. Do not install Minitab. At any point in time when you want to go with training, that's when you would need those 30 days to use, because you install once, it's done. So please do understand, well, if you want to install Minitab, unless you have multiple laptops, do not install it right now, because it comes with 30 days trial version. Mr. Khan, any industry, whenever we talk about analysis has to be done, data analysis has to be done, and Excel can only help you to a limited extent. But when you get into more complex and statistical problems, that's when you need Minitab. And there are other softwares in the market also, which are used like SAS, we have R, but technically when it comes to Lean Six Sigma, this is the default version today. So, well, it is. I'm sure when we go through today's content also itself, that answer will automatically be taken care of. How does it help? So I'm sure we'll be able to get that answers as we move forward. So, but do I have everyone's commitment that we will ask questions? That's what I need from you all. Do I have everyone's commitment?
Yes.
Right then, perfect. So let's get started now. First thing first, let's quickly get going with the basic concept. Let me get rid of these extra files, which we don't need for now, and we will be fine. All right, so okay, first thing first, let's go and talk about, okay, Lean Six Sigma. Is it a one word or two different words? Lean Six Sigma. Anyone would like to pitch in?
Two different words.
Perfect. It's two different words. So let's get started with the lean part of it. And then when you're done with lean, we'll move to Six Sigma. So let's first of all uncover the lean part of it. What do you mean by lean? Anyone would like to pitch in? Mitigate the problem about the lean part. When we say lean, the definition of lean.
Cost-effective way.
Cost-effective way. Perfect. Process improvement. Okay. What else? That's right, Ms. Amreen. Waste elimination, Philip, spot on. Reduce waste, minimizing waste. Perfect. Makes sense. Automation, yes, could be. Yes, it will help you to get the lean work done. Yes, you're right about that. Brian, anyone else has any different perspective? By the way, you all are right about that answers. So it's not that I'm trying to find a best answer, but you right answers are right. Efficiency, yes, absolutely right, George. All right, so I'm going to talk about the definition, reduction of waste. Most of us talked about reduction of waste, and that's what it is. You always try to control the waste in the process, minimize the waste in the process. But when you sit through a job interview, recruiters, I'm talking about the first round of interview, the people who are doing your job interview, they are not the Six Sigma experts. They're generally given a statement or some sort of definition, and unless and until your answer does not contain all the required words, even though you've answered it correctly, they will count it incomplete. So I'll try to kind of just quickly draft the basic statement and let's understand what is lean. It's identification and elimination of waste from the process to increase efficiency without compromising on the quality of product or service. Let's kind of break it down, understand what you mean by this entire statement. But technically, when we want to cover up the definition of lean, we must include all these specific words. And there is a reason why we have to include all of these. Let's make it simple. Lean is very, very simple, by the way. So let's kind of get the basic understanding right. Well, whatever industry we may be in, whether it's a manufacturing industry or a service industry or any kind of industry, bottom line, doesn't matter. We have multiple process steps involved. Every process, every industry has multiple process steps. So for example, there's a department A. Some people are involved in this department A. Some people are working here. So some process is getting worked out here. The output of A goes to B as input. Now, some people are involved in B plus process step. Some activities are done in the B step also. And the output of B goes to C, and similarly it goes to D, and it goes to E, F, G, H, and say this is how my process goes through. So I complete this entire process from A to H, and my product or service, whatever I'm delivering, is available to me after I complete this step number H. Hypothetically, it takes me 15 days time. Now, what lean says, well, use the definition as per the definition of lean. There is something which we will discuss. What is the definition of waste? What do you call as a waste? So there's a very simple definition which we will explore. Based on the definition, you will try to understand as per the definition, is this a waste? The activities that we're doing, is it a waste? No. Is this a day waste as per the definition? No. Is this a waste as per definition? Say this activities that we're doing in step number C, as per definition of waste, it can be called as a waste. So you've identified the waste as per the definition of lean. Similarly, you hypothetically, you also find out this step number F, this activity can also be called as a waste as per definition of lean. We'll understand that part. So what it does, it first tries to say is that use your knowledge of lean, and as per the definition of lean, try to observe every single activity in your process and find out, is it a waste or not as per the definition? Well, when you identified it, why would you keep waste in the process? So simply go about eliminating the waste in the process. And when you eliminate the waste, now your process has become lean. A fat process has turned into a lean process. Now it takes me only 11 days time. Why? Because you're not doing that extra work. The non-value added activities, which was step number C and step number F, is not been done now. And you are still getting the same product. Remember, while we do it, we do not compromise on the quality of product or service. So whatever quality the customer was enjoying at the end of 15 days, that cannot be compromised. So what we did is we simply eliminated the waste activities from the process, and that resulted in lesser duration. Is the customer happy? Definitely yes. Customer had to wait 15 days. Now the customer is getting in 11 days. Customer is really happy and getting the same quality. Having said that, are you happy as a company? Definitely yes. I am doing it lesser time. Well, I have optimized my process. So here the process efficiency has been optimized. Why? Because you've optimized in terms of cost, time, efforts, resources, raw material, anything that you were spending in that step number C and F, that's been saved. Your process efficiency has got better. You're much faster. You can utilize your resources because you will have 4 extra days. You will have more resources available. You can utilize this for generating extra revenue. So your process has turned lean. Lean is all about time. It's about the speed of the process. Simple logic of lean is, can you deliver the product or service faster? While you do it, well, you'll not compromise on the quality, but it's all about time. Lean is about this. How can you reduce the time? By identifying the waste in the process. When you identify the waste in the process, just eliminate it. Lean done. That's what is lean. Lean is so simple. Well, honestly, I can't teach you anything about lean because you all are lean experts. Each and every one of you has been practicing lean in your personal life, in your professional lives. Yes, we don't do it in a structured way. We don't do it regularly. We do it on ad hoc basis, need basis. We do it like sometimes I might do it, sometimes I may not do it. I don't measure the effect because it's an old proverb. It says what you measure, you improve. Since we don't do it purposefully, we don't have tangible outcome out of it. We do not get the realized benefit, but trust each and every one of you, it has been practicing lean. It's non-common. It's absolutely commonsensical. It's something which it's not exciting. Well, I would highly recommend to people to tell me what is the difference between operations and a project. People from operations or project background can help me understand difference between operations and project. Operations versus project. Anyone?
Mr. Shashi Farha here.
Yeah.
Operations is more on a transactional basis, which cannot be time bound. Project is something that you have a defined, probably, it's time bound. You will have to complete it.
Absolutely, yes.
Time.
Yeah. So this is never ending. And this is like repeated activities.
Ongoing, yeah.
Yes, ongoing activities. You go, well, what is an operation? Well, you go to office, do same 9 to 5 kind of job every day with a smile on your face, whether you like it or not, you got to do it. That's what is operation. You do it every day, repeated activities, no end date. Project is temporary. Projects, when you talk about project, it's temporary. It's for a unique purpose. You start and you end a project. It's not done till eternity, but operations never end. Operations always will start, but never end. You start an operations work, it is never have an ending date. You do it every day, same activities, but our projects will be picked up for a specific purpose. Lean is operations. I would hate to call people who say lean as a project, because lean can never be a project. Lean is hygiene. Lean is commonsensical. Lean is absolutely basic stuff. But, and trust, there's nothing new to learn about lean. It's very boring, very, very boring, but very, very important. The foundation of any organization is lean. Well, when you talk about Six Sigma, it's very exciting. This is absolutely got like graph, charts, analysis. It's fascinating. There's many things to learn in Six Sigma. So people will always prioritize Six Sigma more than lean. But trust, companies where there's excellent lean culture, Six Sigma will show its true impact in those companies. Where lean culture is weak, Six Sigma will struggle there. Why? Because the foundation of everything is lean. So lean, whether it's not interesting, it's very boring, it's simple, there's nothing new to learn, but you still need to do lean. Lean is hygiene, which you have to do every day without fail. Six Sigma is a choice. It's a project. Whether you want to do it or not, your choice depends on organization needs, where you will start a project and you'll end it one day. So you have a cost reduction project, you have a quality project, you have market improvement, like market share related project, any project. You pick up a project for a purpose and you solve it. Bottom line, it's done, but lean will never be done. Lean will always be done. So, well, when you deal with in a management role, when you have a team, your team will always prioritize Six Sigma over lean. But trust, that's where we go wrong. Your foundation must be strong. And that's why it's your responsibility to make sure your people are people are always, you follow up with people to make sure there's no lapse in lean implementation. Lean must be followed, and you have to just ensure that your people are not taking it lightly. It's simple. They would never be excited. And if you want to check this out, we have not discussed anything about waste identification. We have not discussed about definition of finding waste, nothing. But just to validate, do we really know lean? Let's watch out a quick video and you help me understand whether you know lean or not. I'm going to play this quick short video. And in this video, my objective would be to play, when I play this video, I would want you to please use the chat, share the things that we could have done better. And my purpose is lean. What is lean? It's all about delivering the customer, the product or services faster. So all in this video, you have to watch out for things we could have done better to speed up the process, to make it faster. Have a look at the video. I'll be on mute for a moment. You count every single step that you take in the process. You also take a track of time that you're spending on every activity, because every activity consumes time and time is money. You may use the chat option to share your views, what you could have done better.
Hey Steve, did you want that toast plain?
No. Hey, about the,
I got it.
about the,
I got it.
really, about the butter.
No, I got it.
Rach, no, really, about the butter.
Okay, here you go.
Rach, one piece would have been plenty. And I really wanted jelly on it.
All right, so I guess it doesn't need any clarification. So we all know lean, and trust looking at your messages in the chat, it absolutely gives immense satisfaction. You all know lean. So this is no rocket science. Lean is commonsensical. Everyone knows it. Just yes, we will be able to add certain terminology. So you all have done lean implementation in your personal, professional lives, because whenever you come across because when we talk about violation of lean, when people are not following lean, these are obvious issues. We always understand when things are not going right, and that's what is lean. Technically, whenever lean violations will happen, you would know it, because you know it's common sense. It's whenever common sense will prevail, lean will be followed. So when we looked at this entire video, it doesn't matter what industry is it. Well, whenever we look at lean aspect, which industry doesn't matter, because there will be certain process activities that are done. And if it doesn't suit as per the basic logics, well, you will understand there's something which is done, which could be improvised. This is not how it can be done. Things could have been done parallelly. She could have listened to the customer. Hygiene could have been maintained. A lot of things could have been placed like close to each other. She did a lot of movement. We all saw that. It's understood. When you look at a process, it looks chaotic. All we do with lean is simplify it. But all in all, when we talk about lean, simple logic of lean is, well, when you have understanding of lean, well, we apply, we observe the process. Yes, Mr. Hossain, please go ahead. Remember one thing, we only solve visual issues in the lean. Whatever you see is what you fix in the lean. You have a certain knowledge about lean aspects. We'll talk about the lean fundamentals. We'll talk about the definition of waste. What would you call as a waste? So as per the definition, you start looking at your process. You start observing the process. The core tool of lean is observation. You observe every single activity, and what you see with your naked eyes is what you fix in lean. So lean is only going to solve the visual issues, what is visible to you, not data oriented. Data is something else, but visual challenges, things which are not right as per definition of lean. But remember, what we see is what you fix in lean. But all in all, lean is as simple as that. There's no rocket science, it's common sense. Since it's simple, trust your team members will never prioritize lean, because there's nothing new, exciting for them also. It's not exciting for you, it's not exciting for them. These are common sense and everyone understands it. So that's where people will say, well, what's the big deal? If I don't do it today, I can do it tomorrow. That's where we go wrong. So we'll talk about Six Sigma part, but I hope lean aspect is clear to everyone. We'll get into Six Sigma thing, but this is all about lean, what you talked about.
Yes.
Anyone has questions on the lean part? Now we'll get into the definition of waste. What will you call as a waste? We'll discuss that. Okay, I am not sure what, are you still? Mr. Mia, I didn't get your question. Are you still waiting to get into the training or what? Like, because you're still in the training, right? Can you unmute yourself because I didn't get your question? And Mr. Hussein, you have a question? You've raised your hand. Would request you please let me know, like so. This is Shabuj, Mohammed Shabuj. In the meantime, please, if you can clarify that, or please feel free to unmute yourself and let me know what's your concern. In the meantime, we can quickly go through this while I get you the clarity down the question. So, what do I call as a waste? What is the definition of waste? Is what we need to understand. So let's go and quickly understand. It's very simple way. Lean is all very simple, common sense. And the definition is also very simple and common. Like it's a basic logic that we all can understand. When we talk about waste, any activity which adds no value to the process and the activities for which the customer will not be willing to pay is a waste. Any waste activity, any activity for which you feel that customer would say, well, why are you doing this activity? It's not something I will pay for, because everything that you do in your process, there's a cost of every activity. And who pays for the cost? The customer pays for everything. That whatever activity, resources, material, equipment, machinery, whatever you're doing in the process, everything has a cost. There's nothing called free. So every cost is added to the product cost. Every cost is added to the service cost. So if an activity for which the customer would say, no, why should I pay for it? It's an irrelevant activity. Those activities for which the customer is not willing to pay for, that's a non-value-added activity. Those activities which we are doing, but they add no value to the process, those activities are called like waste activities. So technically, when we get into the details of this waste, the older definition, when we talk about the way we categorize waste, because we all understand waste, but to classify waste, the old definition was 7 types of waste, which is the Japanese version. But Americans added 8 waste, one waste on top of it. So anyone knows what is the acronym used for waste? The 8 waste. What is the acronym generally used for summarizing the types of waste? Tim Wood, thank you. No, Tim Wood for waste. DMAC is for the Six Sigma part. We'll discuss that. But Tim Wood, the old version, the 7 types of waste was Tim Wood. Now 8th waste is S, the extra waste. So the Japanese version was Tim Wood, and S, which is the 8 plus 1, 8th waste was added by Americans. Now the Tim Wood that turned to Tim Woods. So that's what we're dealing with now. So 8 waste we'll discuss. First one, would anyone like to pitch in? What do you mean by T? Perfect. Transportation waste. Transportation waste. Inventory waste. Perfect. Not material. Not motion waste. Thank you, Puneet. Motion waste. W would be waiting. Perfect. Thank Charlie. Christy. Yeah. Overproduction. Yes. Over processing. You're right about that. Defects or reworks is the 7th waste. And S is the 8th waste, which is, anyone would like to pitch in? S for not safety, skills. You're right about that. Skills, which is unutilized skills. We'll talk about one by one all these waste. So we know that what we need to be looking for whenever we start looking at the process. Unutilized skills. So let's talk about each waste one by one and understand. Basically, whenever I start looking at my process end to end, all I have to find out. So what I'm going to do is if I understand what are these 8 waste, I'll start looking at my process. Is this a transportation waste? No. Is it inventory waste? No. Is it emotional waste? No. So for every activity, we'll see, does it fit into any of these 8 wastes? Yes or no? Okay, no, there's no, it doesn't fit in any of the 8 wastes. Fine. Is this step number B? Does it fit into any of the 8 wastes? No. This one probably yes. So we identified the waste. So for every activity that we do, we will try to see, does that activity qualify to be called as any of the type of waste? So let's figure out what are these types of waste. So when we talk about transportation, it is unnecessary movement of material, thing, information from one place to another. When we shift things from one place to another, that is when we call it as transportation waste. Remember one thing, movement of people is not transportation waste. Everything else, every movement except human being, any people, you moving here and there, people moving here and there, that movement is not called a transportation waste. Every other movement, shifting, is called a transportation waste. So whenever we move things from one place to another, that will be called as transportation. For example, so we end up using organizational resources like trucks, trains, forklifts, whatever we may be using, and for when we use this, well, we will be using fuel and all those things. But basically, you will end up using a lot of material. Let me quickly show it to you. But why does it happen? Let me reason. The reason for this is lack of planning. Lack of planning will happen. And let me show you the most common way when we see this waste happening generally at construction site. Just to give an example, say there is a township that we are trying to build, a township which will have, say, 10 different towers. We will have a swimming pool, we'll have a community area, and so on and so forth. So we get the raw material and we dump the raw material here in the beginning, and then we start the work. Then after a few days, we realize that, well, that's where we will be having a community hall where we'll be kind of having a gym and whatever, we will be having it here. So we then pick up this material, and then we dump the material here. Well, after a few weeks, we realize that's where we will be having an area for swimming pool. We have to start work for the swimming pool. So we dump the material here. Well, after a few weeks, we realize, well, that's where we have a tower number 5 will be constructed. Then we dump the material here. We keep shifting and keep moving without realizing that wherever we are shifting, do we have to shift it again or not? We don't plan. We just react. We come across, there's a need which comes in, we need to shift it, we just dump it somewhere else without realizing that, well, let's think about, before we move, let's dump it somewhere where we don't have to keep moving and shifting it. But we don't think about it. Lack of planning leads us to continuous shifting and movement. So this is pretty common generally at construction sites. Very, very common. Transportation. We keep moving and shifting things from one place to another. That will be called as a transportation waste. It's very common sense. As I said, it's common sense, but we keep doing it all the time. When we talk about inventory, anyone would like to pitch in what is inventory waste? Inventory waste.
Wrong forecasting and keeping in stock.
Absolutely, yes. Wrong forecasting, excess of raw material, stocking up. You keep piling up material, basically of raw material. That's what it is. Let's take a simple example to understand this part. When we talk about, yes, absolutely, Harshit. So hypothetically, see, I purchase an extra raw material worth $10,000 worth of raw material. This is not required. I just purchased it extra. So what if I need, where there's a demand, I'll have to utilize, I have to fulfill the demand. So I can use this raw material from my store. I can start working on it and I can get the product or products delivered to the customer. Well, as a businessman, my money should always be in circulation, because this is my capital. Basically, for this capital, I have to pay rent, I have to pay salaries, I have to do all that stuff. But when I purchased my raw material, that money is stuck up. Now my capital is stuck up. I will have less of working capital. Now this money is blocked till the time I don't get a fresh order, a fresh demand. this money is blocked. The cash flow, absolutely, the cash flow is blocked. Your money is stuck up. Well, you generally as a businessman, you always take money from the market at some interest. You are paying interest on that, but you're not getting an order right now, but that money is still sitting in your warehouse. Now, is it the only cost or there more hidden cost? Hidden cost. Is there more cost associated? Anyone would like to pitch in? Is it the $10,000 we're talking about, or there more cost associated with this?
More cost.
Manpower.
Absolutely, yes. The storage cost, the carrying cost, which only call
Manpower.
manpower. You're right about that. Manpower will be required to manage that cost. Well, insurance. Well, what is the shelf life? People, somebody mentioned that shelf life. Yes, the inventory will get expired. So, I'm sorry.
Electricity.
Management part, right? The cost that will be required for managing the rental part. Yes, absolutely. All this. So there's much more cost associated. We don't even count it. It's hidden cost. We may be just thinking, no, it's 10,000. Sorry, it's not just $10,000. It's much more than that. There's so much of hidden cost, and we are still happy to keep it, which is bad. Anyone would let me know? It can tell me like which company started the lean concept? Anyone knows the company which started lean? We'll discuss that as we move forward.
Henry T. Ford.
So, okay,
Toyota.
that's Toyota. That's Toyota. And we'll talk about it.
Toyota.
Ford has a role to play. So we'll talk about the history when we talk about history part, but it's Toyota, which started the concept of lean. The word lean was introduced by Toyota. Anyone knows how much inventory Toyota carries? Because these guys gave the word lean, the concept of lean to the world. How much? Toyota? Absolutely, you're right about that. So Toyota has a zero inventory concept. Toyota has zero, absolutely zero inventory in their. There's nothing called a warehouse there in Toyota. Well, how do they manage? Let's understand this, a simple one. They work with JIT concept, which is just in time approach. Now, what is this just in time? Well, there's simple logic in that we order, well, when? At the right time, the right place, the right quantity, right quality, and right price. Nothing before, nothing after, nothing less, nothing more, at the right price. Now, how do they manage it? Well, how is it possible? There's a cutthroat competition going on. There's a supply chain issue. We all have been talking about the semiconductor shortage. Well, how is Toyota able to manage when they keep nothing? How do they manage? Absolutely, there's a big risk. Well, everyone has to stock up some inventory. How are they managing? They have absolutely, there's nothing called a warehouse with Toyota. Well, practically, how do they manage? And that's what we have to understand. Well, these guys gave the concept of lean to everyone. And yes, till date, they work with a zero inventory concept. How? That part we can definitely talk about. Let's quickly understand how did Toyota manage it. Until date, they're managing it that way. So whenever, so say this is Toyota facility. I'm talking about the old version, not the current. I'll tell you what's the current version. The old version of Toyota. This is the manufacturing place where they manufacture the cars. So Toyota, as it says, they do not procure the inventory. Well, they always try to go and procure when it's demanded. So how it works, when say there's a semiconductor or any spare part, there's so much of spare parts used in a car. So with every supplier, when globally, with the other car manufacturers also, say hypothetically, there's a price of a spare part is X dollars. Every other car manufacturer would negotiate with the supplier and ask for a discounted price, because a bulk price, a corporate discount, whatever they talk about. So everyone will try to say, well, the market price is X dollars. We will not pay you X dollars. We need discounted price. So every other car brand tries to negotiate with the suppliers and get a discounted price. That's number one. Toyota said, we will pay you this market price plus a premium. Well, depending on whatever the product, how expensive, how important is the part, it could be somewhere premium between 5 to 10% or 15%, depending on the part. So Toyota was happy to pay the market price plus the premium price. And everyone was trying to look for negotiated price. These guys were paying a premium. Were they idiots? No. And we'll understand why. So number one, they paid a higher premium, but yes, nothing comes free. With this higher premium, obviously there were some conditions, but obviously, as a supplier, I'm happy to pay somebody who's giving me higher amount, not the market price, but a premium on top of it, while others are asking for discounted price. Number one. Number two, the most important part, more than the premium, Toyota is known for its payment terms. The biggest problem in any industry is when your money gets stuck. Your cash flow gets stuck. You as a supplier have procured some money from the market, you purchase the raw material and then you supply to your company, and then you have raised the invoice. You are falling up for invoice. The company is giving you runaround. They're not paying you, and they still expect you to supply the material. The keep so your money gets stuck and the company still expects. Where would you get the money from? And you're still paying interest on the money that you procured from the market. Well, you get stuck. Your cash flow went well, so you'll have no more cash to run the business. Well, Toyota is known for its payment terms. If they say 30 days, bottom line 30 days, within 30 days, this money will be in the account. That's what Toyota has been able to maintain, that sort of brand value, the reputation in the market. So this is the biggest relief, not more than not that premium, but this is the biggest relief that Toyota gives to all the suppliers. Well, you can know, well, if I'm supplying the material to Toyota, I will be paid within 30 days. 30 days means 30 days. You will have it on or before 30 days, the money will be in your account. So all suppliers are happy to give the money to spare parts to the Toyota, because they've got the biggest security that they will not have to run after the money. They don't have to chase. They don't have to wait for 6 months, 9 months to get their payments released. Well, they will get paid on time, so they can circulate that money, make more money. They will not be stuck up. And on top of it, you're making a premium. Well, why would they do it? Well, everything comes with a price. Well, they had a condition. Well, we are manufacturers. We are not the suppliers. It's not my job to keep the inventory. We will manufacture. So you have to have a they had a original 30 minutes drive concept. So wherever your office may be, we don't care. You have to have a warehouse within 30 minutes drive of Toyota facility. We don't care wherever your head offices are. Get a warehouse within 30 minutes drive. We are not suppliers. We will not keep raw material. It's your job. You keep it. We paying you premium. We will paying you on time, but you got to keep your warehouse within 30 minutes drive. So whenever people book a car through the ERP system, they get to know like 50 cars have been booked. Customer has paid the advance money and they're waiting for the car. So they will relay the communication to the suppliers. Well, we need spare parts worth 50 cars, not 49, not 51. 50 means 50. So within 30 minutes, they should be able to supply it as per the contract, as per the legal terms. Within 30 minutes, they should be able to supply it. That was one condition. Now Toyota became even more stringent. Well, they had on top of it another condition that with this extra premium, they got a exclusive right, first priority. So first part, which is manufactured by the supplier, the first authority, first right, legal rights on the part is of Toyota. So they don't have a worry to stock up the material. It's the supplier who has to ensure that the supplier has that now liability and ownership to supply the material. So if they manufacture 100, if Toyota needs 100, they will end up taking all 100. The leftover is available for everyone else. And every supplier is happy to do it. You are getting a secured consumption. You're getting paid on time. You're getting paid high. They were happy to sign those contracts. First legal right on that spare part is of Toyota. So technically, they were happy to because they know there's a guaranteed consumption and I'm getting a higher payment. So they happily agreed and they're happy to still do it because they're getting paid on time and plus they're getting a premium. Well, Toyota relieved himself from as a company to get into this issue, because technically they don't have to block up the money. They don't have to stock up the money, this spare part, their storage costs, rental costs, the shelf life, everything has been taken care of. They don't have to have resources to manage it. So Toyota, when you count this inventory, well, if you look at it, was Toyota stupid to kind of get into this contract? No. If you count this cost, the storage, the money that you're blocking up, plus this extra cost, this cost is higher than the premium that you pay. So they did their maths. So when you count this, when you actually do this maths, this will be higher cost that you're paying as compared to this premium cost. So they were smart enough. They did their maths better than anyone else. So well, everyone was trying to get a discounted price, but they had to stock up a lot of material and then add this extra cost. Well, Toyota had relieved itself from this liability. So now the liability is on the suppliers and to supply it on time. And yes, it's the warehouse, everything. Now the current version of Toyota looks like this. Not 30 minutes, right on the fence. There are 1,500 plus suppliers, just in time. You have 50, you can say small shops or warehouse, what do you call this? For 1,500 plus suppliers right around the fences, we will ask for it when we need it, just in time. So 1,500 plus suppliers. Well, having said that, that's possible with Toyota. Toyota is a massive company. But yes, not everyone is Toyota. Not everyone is Toyota. You cannot be dictating your, well, because at times suppliers are too big and your company is small or medium size. You cannot be, it's so demanding with supplier. Well, then you have to stock up some inventory, but that's when we maintain safety stock. So safety stock, well, this is going to be out of scope for us, but I can quickly tell you, if you are if your job involves inventory management, so inventory management part, do search this part. We do this during consulting with whenever we do the lean initiatives at corporate end. So do check this out, EOQ model. If your EOQ model is economic order quantity model. So if you Google up, you get so much of literature, PDF, PowerPoints, a lot of things are there, which tells you the EOQ. Generally, they teach this in business schools. EOQ model helps you to understand and calculate the right size of inventory. Well, basically, a logic is when you order less, you pay a higher price. When you order in bulk, you pay a lower price. EOQ model helps you to calculate the right amount of inventory where you pay the lowest price at the lowest inventory size. So then pretty much if you just search, there's a lot of literature online. Just search on Google and you will find your answers. So if your job role involves inventory management, do search. It's a very simple stuff. You will be able to find your answer. But it's worth reading it, whether it's because not everyone can be Toyota, but yes, we should try to stick to as low as possible, because that is when you're stocking up your inventory. So something is required. Most of the companies, yes, you got to be stocking up something, but just safety stock. So yes, you got to get into the calculation, right estimation of what is required, not too much of it. So that's when the inventory part comes into picture. I hope that's clear. I saw some questions, but I guess these things are taken care of now. The questions I was observing, your questions, is that okay with everyone now? Because I saw some questions, I guess that's been taken care of. Is it clear, the first transportation and inventory part with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then let's check out the motion part. Motion is all about human beings. Well, we said every movement was transportation except human being. Every movement was transportation waste except human being is motion waste. Why? Because all movements done by people while doing their job is motion waste. Let me give you a quick idea about this one before we get into some more details about what is motion waste. Well, before I got into full-time consulting, I was doing a job and I was doing parallel, some bit of consulting work. Well, I was last employed in an organization, one of the MNC. My cabin was somewhere here. That was a huge facility. My cabin was somewhere here, and everyone had printers. So every now and then people will start complaining that my printer has gone bad. So management was sick and tired of those complaints daily. So they took away everyone's printer and they got a huge centralized printers placed somewhere here. So when we were habitual of giving a printout, so you give a printout, get out from your cabin, walk into various cubicles, zigzag, and reach to the printer, hoping you did not stop and chit chat anywhere, and you come back the same way. Again, hope you did not stop anywhere. But I did my maths way back, and it was an eye opener. That was a motion waste, because that movement added no value to the customer, and that added no value to the process. It was just a motion waste. Who's tracking this time? Let's see how much impact does it make. So I did this actual calculation, 3 minutes to go to the printer and 3 minutes to come back. So roughly 6 minutes wasted to pick a printout. On an average, I did a calculation. We saw that on an average, we were used to give like 3 printouts per day. So 3 prints per day would waste about 18 minutes per day. That's what it is. We did this calculation and we found that. Well, who was tracking this minute? Well, 6 minutes per printout, 3 minutes to go, 3 minutes to come back. Who was taking a track of it? Nobody. Well, we don't care about it. Japanese take account of 1 single second. We talk about a minute is a big number. Japanese account for every single second where your time goes in. So, well, if I did this maths, well, I just did basic calculations here. 80 minutes per day. So if I work 22 days per month, with Saturday, Sunday, we don't work. So 22 days per month, multiplied by 18 minutes per day, which is 396 minutes in a month, and per year. So if I convert this into a year, so these many minutes in a year, convert this into hours in a year. So this is minutes. So you convert this into hours by dividing by 60. And then if I have like 8 hours per day, like a per day, how many salaries, how many days I wasted divided by 8 hours. So that tells me that I wasted 9.9 days of salary in one complete year, just picking up a printout. That's what, when we add up this, when you do a maths, we will be able to figure out. And trust, this is just one activity, picking up printout. There's so many such activities which we do it every day. Everyone in the organization is doing it every day. We don't measure it. We don't treat that as a waste. Nobody measures it. And that's where it goes wrong. This is the one of the biggest waste which happens in every organization. Why does it happen? For a simple reason. The reason for this motion waste is poor layout. And I'll show you what is that. Poor layout really is the reason for this one. And the identification of the problem, identification is done through something called spaghetti diagram. Solution is U-shaped cellular layout. Let me quickly show you what these two, and that's out of scope for us, but again, at least you can do some bit of extra research on this. So spaghetti diagram, quickly show you what's that. So there is lots of information we have here. So technically, there's all these are, you can see, layouts. They are all layouts. But before we get into details, you can have a look at this one. So at least we know what are we going to be talking about, what are we getting into. So this is exactly the motion waste. So we can get into more details as we move forward. We can check this out. So this is one process, how it's working. First, it says material preparation. It goes to some measurement and cutting. That's the process step. Then some items which are good can directly go for some chemical protection, which are not good will be going for rubbing and some inspection. After it's taken care of, then it goes to this final chemical protection. After this is done, then it goes for making joints. From this, it goes to a first inspection. Then it goes to repair and trimming. And after it's done, it goes for again inspection. Then it goes for some assembly, and then it goes to final inspection, and then it goes to probably, and something which is again, here is back, and one more channel goes back. So you can see so many times we're crossing each other's path. That's when you're creating motion waste, because we occupied areas without realizing how my process works. This is the same process, and motion waste is cut down. We are following the process flow rather than occupying areas. We have followed, what's my first process step? Output goes to this, output goes to this, output goes to this, output goes to this. We are following the process flow rather than occupying area and then deciding the process to flow. So it is where you look at this. This is called U-shaped layout. The process has lesser movement and no sort of like path crosses here in case of a U-shaped layout. So the objective is to convert such process. It's a layout process, layout design of the department's area where we are occupied. It's a problem. So you have to convert this to a U-shaped layout. So that's what we intend to do. And if you just search for examples there, let's kind of quickly check out some bit of example. That's one. Just need to search for examples here. You will get tons of example online. This is some hospital layout where the people are kind of talking about. So this is a layout, and this is talking about counting the number of steps. So you install one application in your mobile phone which counts the number of steps, a pedometer application, and it tracks the time that you take. So you move from one place to another, the way you regularly do it, and then you count how many steps do you have to take, and then you look at swapping two departments and say, well, if I follow the process, if I swap the departments, am I able to reduce the steps? Am I able to reduce the steps? So you don't change everything. So layout has to be changed. Design of the areas has to be changed. It's exactly like you have a one area which looks like this. There's say hypothetically, there's a organization where there's a, like say there's a HR department, there's some finance department, there's a marketing department, there's some other people, and this is where my like a raw material, which some raw material is kept. The store part is here, production department is right here, quality department is right here, then the packaging department is here, then after packaging the final storage is here. So final storage, and then finally I have a dispatch department. So raw material is supplied by the team to the production. Production does the work. It goes for quality inspection. Quality inspection does the work. Then it goes for packaging. Packaging team does the packaging, goes to storage, and finally it goes to logistics, and then it's sent out. Same process needs to be restructured and just realign Follow the process. Don't occupy area and then start letting your process flow. Well, first department should be store. Yes, that's where the raw material will come from. Next has to be production. Follow the process. Store will provide the raw material to the production team. Once it's done, that has to go for quality inspection. So quality department should be the next one. Then it goes for packaging. Then it goes for the store, final storage items, then the logistics part. This is when you convert into U-shaped layout. So your structure has to be changed. The layout has to be changed. You don't change everything one fine day. You might swap two departments and see, well, how does it work? So you always quantify the first stage old status, then change two departments and see how many steps have you been able to reduce, because those many steps will be taken by everyone every day throughout the year. So you quantify it by the number of steps and the time that you are reducing, and time is what you're looking for. So motion waste is very easily identifiable. All you have to do is convert this into the spaghetti diagram will help you to find out the problem. U-shaped cellular layout is what you're looking for. All out. This is the technically we are trying to do. Technically, this is what my old structure looks like. That's how my process is working. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. This is U-shaped. All process must follow the way my process works. So all companies, which is technically Japanese companies, where it's a manufacturing unit or for that matter, a service industry, they always follow a U-shaped layout, whether it's the structure. This is traditional layout. This is a U-shaped layout, start and end of the process. Lesser movement, whether it's talk about any industry, doesn't matter. They always work with Japanese companies will by default be coming with it. All people are working in a U-shaped, typical U-shaped layout, whether it's manufacturing or any kind of service industry. In the offices also, their cubicles, their areas are decided. All these are in a U-shaped layout, because U-shaped layout will have lesser movement to be done. So just search for these examples online. There's too much of material here for you to understand what needs to be done, but it's a structural change which is required when you're dealing with lean. So I hope it is okay with when it comes to the motion waste. Is it fine with everyone? Perfect. Let's then go ahead and check out the next one. So when we talk about waiting,
Prakash, this is very similar to the transportation. The wastage.
Transportation wastage is when everything is moving, but we don't count human beings there. Here we just talk about people. When you have to move as an individual, when people move to do their job, that's when it is. Otherwise, transportation is about movement of material things. So for one, you're doing one activity, you might be doing two waste also. You will be doing transportation and the motion waste also. So you will be doing both of them. At one activity can fall into multiple waste also. Now, when we talk about waiting waste, simple logic of lean is to cut down time. But when you're saying your process step A completed, B did not start. Why? B complete, C did not start. Why? So basically, if your process steps are waiting, find out why. Observe the process. Wherever there's a waiting, find out why. Waiting for what? Basically, you have to find out waiting for what. Are you waiting for approval, instructions, raw material, resources, or there's a work in progress? So basically, work in progress, which is some item is waiting for somebody else to work on. Bottom line, we talk about VIP, which is work in progress. All these things have to be killed. So you have to observe, identify the bottlenecks. Absolutely, the bottleneck of the process will be figured out when you kind of look into this. So when you look at your process and see wherever my process gets stuck, that's where you have to go and find out how can I solve it. But knowing their problem exists is almost half the battle won. So start looking at your process, find out where my process is going to get stuck, and pretty much you go and figure it out. So we'll be discussing as you move forward, but I'll show you like this is what we do in a lean part of it. So these are the bottlenecks, the waiting waste. This is the inventory waste, which is stuck up, waiting. This is the waiting part. Inventory is getting weighted. So bottom line, this is what we refer as a value stream mapping. And the time that we waste here is the wait, how many days, how many days. So that's what we do in the lean part of it. Value stream map is what we create to identify waste, to quantify waste. So technically that's the lean part when we get into it. So we quantify the waiting part where the process gets stuck. So we will be identifying on an entire, basically the process mapping will be done. Overproduction, well, lean is when talk about Toyota as a company, that's last company on this plant which will even worry about overproduction, because Toyota will never do overproduction because they don't get extra raw material. The only ones who will be doing overproduction, who will end up getting raw material, which is extra. So, well, producing more than what the customer demands. Well, again, that's again has extra waste. So you're now technically this was probably my raw material. The hidden cost is still there. So here we were talking about raw material. Here you have finished goods. So your finished item, finished goods. Now that $10,000 worth raw material is now worth 50,000 because the overproduction has been done. The sales, the maximum retail price, the selling price is now $50,000. Now that's still sitting in your warehouse, waiting for a demand to come in so I can sell and I can make money. But till that time, my $50,000 are blocked, plus this extra cost, which is still there. So Toyota never has to worry about this. So demand supply can kind of get into this. When we kind of do with lean, we never get into this hassle. We never do this actually in real world. So when you apply lean part of it, it doesn't get into, we'll always be able to reverse the process and it takes care of it. So the 5 principles of lean, when they implement, well, pretty much we take care of all these waste by default. Over processing is generally happens when we don't understand the customer requirements clearly. We over process. So that lady in that example, that she didn't listen to the customer in the video, and she tend to kind of do more and more. She over processed that. She like whatever was not even required, she kept on doing it. So probably see, if I know Six Sigma and my boss says, well, get me data. Well, if I start doing analysis, graph charts, well, that's over processing. It was never required. Nobody asked for it. So when you do not understand the customer requirements clearly, you will end up doing over processing. Customer says, I'm happy with 90% quality. Do not suffocate your process for 99% quality. I'm not saying higher quality will be bad, but customer will not value it. Try and do not over process the needs of the customer. Whenever say, for example, a invoice needs to be processed. Well, for example, what is over processing? We have finished goods. That finished good is inspected by quality inspection 1A. Once quality inspection 1 is done, then we do a quality inspection 2. Once it's done, then we do a quality inspection 3. And finally, we have a final quality inspection. Well, that's too much. I know some bit of inspection, some quality measure, that's too much. And some companies do that also. Too much of quality inspection. That's you over processing the need of quality. I know, well, if you have to do so much, so many levels of kind of quality inspection, then you have a really bad process. And technically you are overreading into the needs of the customer. It's not that critical. Like you don't have to have 3-4 levels of quality inspection. Well, there's no point in having too many of them here. When talk about defects and reworks, well, defects and reworks are self-explanatory. Why? Because, well, 2 things will happen. If it's rework, like defect part, if it happens, either you'll have a scrapped item, which is completely damaged. This completely damaged item needs to be replaced. You have to make a new one with new one. Or if it's partially damaged, then you have to repair it. In both the ways, we will work again without getting paid. So you will be reworking again, whether you replace with a new one or you repair the existing one, you are going to reprocess again everything, but you will not be paid for the extra work because you made a blunder in the first case. You should not have a defect. If you don't have a defect, you don't have to work again. Because you work again, whether to rework or you replace, you're taking more time, which should not have been there. So you're violating lean, because when you have defects, you will take more time to fulfill the requirement of the customer. So if 100 applications come for a loan application, say 100 loan applications come in, and when we process them, we could process only 93 applications were processed. Why? Because 7 applications had some information missing. Well, what you would do, you'll have to go back to the customer, ask there for details, and you again reprocess. Ideally, that should have been collected correctly in the first place. That's where you do the rework part of it. So it happens a lot. Talking about skills, unutilized skills, that's a big curse in corporate world. Well, micromanagement. Well, let me tell you, well, like with simple logic. Well, say if I want to hire somebody as a Six Sigma green belt, as a Six Sigma black belt, I tell my hiring team, I need somebody who should have Six Sigma knowledge. It'll be great if this person has a project management background, has done a PMP certification. Well, if he knows something about Agile, it will be good. If he knows something about ISO certification, it will be good if this person knows some automation stuff. Well, I had almost every possible desire in the world. Fortunately, my hiring team was able to find one excellent resource. Well, great job. But what I do with this person, I tell this person what to do. Well, don't use your mind, do what I say. If you really needed a clerk, you should have hired a clerk. You're wasting that talent. So that's when you do, well, some bit of management is required, but too much is bad. When you complicate, you suffocate people with too much of well, you poke your nose everyone in someone's job every now and then, you're suffocating that person. And honestly, you would never be able to gain respect of that individual ever. So it's very important to stop doing micromanaging. People, you've got to utilize resources. Let them do their job. Yes, some bit of management, hand-holding, support is required, but doing too much will be bad because you got to do your own job also. So, well, avoid doing micromanagement. When say here also, a work which can be done by 2 people is done by 5. That's also wasted resource. Well, a nurse, like a doctor, is doing a job of a nurse, is also waste of talent. An engineer is doing a job of a probably mechanic kind of thing, that's very basic job. You're not being able to utilize the resources. Well, that's big loss to the organization. So bottom line, skills utilization happens a lot. Well, if I talk about you're sitting in a meeting, well, your boss feels comfortable when you're sitting next to him. Well, you have no role to play. You have tons of work pending, but your boss wants you to be a part of the meeting. Has anyone been a part of such meetings where you feel, well, your time is getting killed, you have already tons of work pending, and your boss wants you to be present there? You can't say no, and it's bad. So just this is where the time is being wasted. Well, there would be certain meetings where I'm expected to contribute, but there are certain meetings where you're just pulled up, you have nothing to do with it, and still you expected to be present there. It's waste of the talent and skills. So technically it is unfortunate, but it happens in most of the situation. It's more about self-realization. It's more about introspecting the process. Well, I'm not sure how many of us do follow this gentleman, this guy, well, Elon Musk. I don't follow him closely, but some statements of him, well, makes sense. He says, well, if you feel that you can't contribute to the meeting, just walk out of the meeting. Well, it's an insult to you and to the other people if you still stay in the meeting. You have no other value add to give. Well, that's being too direct, but a lot of people will not like it. But it's more about maturity of the people, maturity of the organization, to understand and create a culture where people can feel open, like can share their views. Well, I don't think I'm able to contribute here. I have other works to do. So can I leave? Well, people should not be taking offensive. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. Well, we never have a perfect situation. But yes, it's more about as we go through, like we start creating a team, at least we should demonstrate those behaviors so we can create a culture. So culture creation needs to start at our end. Well, we can't control others' behavior. It's more about self-realization and culture creation. So there's never a perfect rule. We got to start where we start. Like when we have a team and we manage a project, we should create a culture where people feel free to openly say that, well, bottom line, I have no role to play in this meeting. Can I step out? I have more work to do. Bottom line, nobody should feel offended about that activity, but that's okay. Well, somebody is open rather than keeping things to themselves. So, well, it's more about that. But yes, culture creation is required for the skills part of it because it's a hidden ways. It's more of self-realization. But yeah, by the way, these are the 8 ways. Anyone has any questions on any of these 8 ways, we can talk about it. Anything, or if it's okay, then we can move on. With that, we should end the lean part of it. Shall we proceed? Is it okay with everyone?
Let's go.
Okay, perfect. Let's then go ahead. All right, so talking about definition of Six Sigma. Anyone would like to pitch in the definition of Six Sigma? What is Six Sigma? Because the fascination has started now. We'll get into more details now.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please go ahead.
My basic understanding of Six Sigma is attaining 99.99% efficiency, which basically translates to 6 defects in 1 million.
No. That's slightly off target, but yeah, but I'm sure that's a very good, like almost very close, but yeah, we'll be kind of getting it. Philip has mentioned variation reduction. Thank you, Philip. That's where we will kind of, let's kind of get the definition here, and then we'll break down this definition to understand what is it. So it's a statistical approach to reduce variation. When I say variation, trust if your definition does not have a word variation, it's incomplete in real world interviews. Job interviews, we don't use the word variation, because that's how the sigma level is calculated through the variation aspect. So statistical approach to reduce variation in the process to increase effectiveness. So Six Sigma works on improving effectiveness. Lean works on improving efficiency. Now, what is effectiveness? Let's break down the sentence one by one. Effectiveness, fancy term. It's nothing other than quality percentage. So in reality, Six Sigma improves your quality percentage. As you said, yes, 99 point, but that number is slightly like different, but yes, quality percentage. Six Sigma improves your quality percentage. How? By reducing the defect. Well, so big deal. We'll talk about variation, but technically what it does, it reduces the defects in the process. When your defects reduces, your quality improves. Simple stuff. But the big question is how? Statistical approach, the data-driven approach. Well, globally, people are going crazy after data, and there is no reason why they should not, because people have understood, like you install one application in your mobile phone, this application wants to know your contacts, your messages, everything. Why? Because people have understood that future is data. Though we talk about machine learning, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, everything, we talk about data only. Six Sigma is hardcore data-driven study. It's absolutely amazing. And when we talk about Six Sigma, it exactly does the same job. Using data, we are able to understand why the defect is happening. Let's take a simple example, and we'll understand the term variation part. In a simple way, let's take this example. Let's say one of my client comes back and tells me, Shashi, I want you to manufacture like 5 million or 10 million or 20 million markers, whiteboard markers. That's what the client wants. Well, and the length which has been given to me is 5.5 inches. That's what it has to be. So the target you have to maintain is 5.5. I understand the requirement, and I tell my team, well, guys, we have received an order from the customer and we have to manufacture 5.5 inches long marker, and my team understands it. So they start manufacturing, and after manufacturing, we realize after 1 week of production, this is, say, hypothetically my 1 week production data, and I realize that let me kind of make some more 5.5 here. So we have to do less of juggle between this. Okay. So is this 5.5? No, that's a variation from 5.5. It's less than 5.5. It's a defect. Is this 5.5? No, that's a variation from 5.5. It's more than 5.5. Variation from 5.5, higher than 5.5, it's a defect. This is also higher than 5.5, variation. This is again a defect. This is variation on lesser side, variation on higher side, variation on lesser side, variation on higher side. You have variation on lesser side, you have variation on lesser side, lesser side, higher side. Whether it's more than 5.5 or less than 5.5, it's all a variation. Anything is just off target, whether it's more or less, is a variation, and all this variation is a defect. So I tell my team, this is absolutely not acceptable. This is very bad. Well, we would lose the contract, we lose the client if you do this. So my experts get together, they brainstorm, and they come up with an idea, a plan, a strategy, so we can solve the problem, and they implement it. Within probably a week's time, my problem gets solved. But after, say, about 20-25 days, the problem resurfaces again. We again start having the problem. Well, nobody has an idea why. But so we again get together, we again do some bit of brainstorming, we again apply the knowledge, our experience, whatever we've learned, our education-related information, everything that you know about that industry, you apply that knowledge and you solve the problem again. But after a few weeks, again, the problem resurfaces again. Now, nobody has an answer why this is happening. Well, we have got to a standstill situation, because whatever I knew in terms of my education, my experience, I have already applied all those logics. There's no more extra strategy that I have left with. Well, I don't know what to do. I wish to solve the problem. It's happening every day, but I can't solve it. I don't know why it's happening, because whatever I could have done, I have done it. So that's when you use Six Sigma. Well, let's understand when to use Six Sigma. So when every other method has failed, including lean. You would have applied lean logics. Visual, remember what you fix in lean. What is visible is what you fix. What you see with your naked eyes, you go to the process and apply the Tim Woods. You look at the process, is it a waste? Is it a waste? Is it a waste? You would have done all possible efforts, including lean. When everything would have failed, then only we use Six Sigma. Technically, not the first choice. It's always the last one. Well, when do I apply Six Sigma? Well, not for every simple thing. We will not use Six Sigma. It's something which will go for a kill. Well, bottom line, Six Sigma is a game changer. It will redefine the rules of the game. It'll make you the industry leader. But you can't be using Six Sigma for every simple small thing. Well, when things can be solved with simple solutions, we should solve with simple solutions. You would not go for complicated and complex situation with like technically for all the problems. Well, when do I apply? Why do I go for this one? Well, it looks like it seems that we are dealing with a complex problem. The root cause is not visible. It's somewhere deep down. We need more advanced tools to find out why the problem is happening. Why? Because if I knew why it's happening, I would have solved it. Every industry has experts like you. If I tell you why the problem is happening, you always have a solution. Well, I don't know why it's happening because whatever I knew, I would already implemented it. So I'm not sure why it's happening because as per my understanding, whatever was reason, I've already explored those reasons and there is no solution to it. So it looks like the real problem is somewhere deep down and we don't know what is it. When you don't know the problem, what solution would you give? It's exactly like you go to a doctor and tell the doctor, well, I've got fever. The doctor gives you a medicine, which is paracetamol. Paracetamol as a medicine will just bring down the body temperature. So after 4 or 5 hours, the fever comes back again. You again have one more medicine of paracetamol and that brings down your temperature. And after a few hours, the temperature comes back again. Why? Because temperature is a symptom. What you're just treating is symptom, the temperature, which is fever. But why the fever is coming? That needs to be solved. The fever is coming because of an infection. The infection is what is causing the fever. So if you don't treat the infection, the fever will keep coming back. You may just cure the temperature. You may just bring down the temperature, but the fever, till the time you don't cure the infection, the fever will keep coming back, keep coming back. So a good doctor will not give you medicine just like that. A good doctor will get the medicine blood test done. After getting the blood test done, the doctor will know exactly what kind of infection, because there can be bacterial infection, so you give antibiotic. Somebody has viral infection, you give antiviral medicine. Somebody has got fungal problem, then you give fungal antifungal medicine. So every infection has a different kind of medicine. And similarly, it happens in Six Sigma. So we only apply our strategies, tools, and techniques when we have done our due diligence. We do proper data analysis. And after doing data analysis, we'll tell you exactly what is causing the problem and what is not. So we don't do like no gut feeling based conversation. We only come up with a real definition. So when you apply statistical tools, this is exactly like doing that diagnostic report or blood test report. When you know the problem, you always have a solution. Six Sigma will help you figure out why that problem is happening because there could be a lot of possible reasons. I don't know why it's happening. So Six Sigma is all about getting in detail, and then you find out why the problem is happening with the help of various statistical tools and techniques. So you apply depending on kind of data, various types of statistical analysis is performed, and you exactly find out why. No gut feeling. Well, we totally understand your experience, your judgment, but let's look at data. Data will give us clarity, not gut feeling stuff. So when we say, if my process is working at Six Sigma level, anyone knows like what is the quality percentage of the process? If it's working at Six Sigma level, any idea about quality percentage of the process at Six Sigma? Yes, 99.99 and 66.
99.99.
Yeah, perfect. So I would highly recommend, please memorize this number, because during job interviews, recruiters do ask this question. Do you know what is the quality percentage of the process which is working at Six Sigma level? And in defect rate, there's a number also used to reflect the defect rate if a process is working at Six Sigma. Yes, 3.4 DPM. What does it mean? 3.4 defects per million opportunity. What does it mean? Let's see. And so if I talk about if my process is working at 6 sigma level, that means my process quality is 99.99966%. That means my process will make maximum of 3.4 defects in 1 million. So technically, if I'm working at 6 sigma level in this manufacturing of marker, I'll have maximum of 3.4 defective markers out of 1 million markers manufactured. That's almost zero defect. What is 3.4 in 1 million? 3.4 defects in 1 million is unbelievable performance. So 6 zeros, I guess that's 6 zeros, whatever it is, I guess the 6 zeros are there. So this is like 3.4. It's almost like a zero defect. So globally, when we talk about 6 sigma, it used to be a choice whether you want to do a 6 sigma or not. It's no longer a choice. It is become the need of the hour. Well, if I say this market, this company is working, say hypothetically at 99% quality. What do you mean if I work at 99% quality, my quality percentage and my fail percentage? Let's kind of count this one. Quality percentage and fail percentage. If I'm working at 99% quality, that means I'll manufacture 99 good markers out of 100, and I'll have 1 defective marker out of 100. That's what my 99% quality means. If I make 1 defective marker out of 100, how many defective markers will I make out of 1 million? Anyone would like to say at 99% defect quality? If I make 1 defective out of 100, how many out of 1 million? At the same rate. If I have 1 error out of 100, thank you. That answer is correct. How about others? Yes, 10,000. 10,000. Well, if you just cancel the zeros, it's the same thing. So cancel these 4 zeros, cancel these 4 zeros, same as 1 out of 100. So if you make 1 error out of 100, you make 10,000 errors out of 1 million. So this is when your process is working at 99% quality, you would be having 10,000 defects in 1 million. And what you're saying at 6 sigma, 3.4 out of 1 million. This is 2 worlds apart. Well, probably about 15, 20 years ago, you could be a market change, like a market leader at 99%. Today, you will be history if you're working at 99%. Customers have become intolerant about defect. You have defect in the process, you will be out of business in no time. We have seen bigger organizations, companies which had monopoly in the market, BlackBerry, Motorola, you have Kodak, big companies, massive companies, they are out of business. They are no longer there because customer has become absolutely intolerant. Customer needs change, better product in every possible aspect. Well, customer needs better services. So if your product and service do not change with the changing trends of the market, you will be outdated. And that's what happened with these big brands. So the brands which are able to continuously cope up and change their product and services to meet the customer, the market trends, they are still relevant to the market and they are market leaders. Bottom line, the customers will not tolerate defect. So it's no longer a choice anymore. You will have to switch to a 6 sigma kind of philosophy because that's what is almost a zero defect. You can't get a zero defect always. Zero defect is a myth. But yes, you can get to almost zero because zero defect is never possible. Yes, you try to get to a zero defect kind of thing. This is almost zero defect kind of thing because 3.4 in 1 million is nothing. Technically almost zero. But a quick question. Is it the best sigma level, 6 sigma, or have you heard about anything better than 6 sigma? Is it possible to get better than 6 sigma? Anyone? Is it the best, or can we think of a better one? Or is there anything working at higher sigma level already?
Aviation and pharmaceutical companies are working at 10 to 12.
Absolutely right. 6 sigma is not the best sigma level, and we'll understand that. But yes, barring that, do we have a basic understanding and difference between lean and 6 sigma? Lean was all about a definition of Tim Woods. Use that knowledge, look at your process, find the waste in the process. 6 sigma is all about data, analysis, numbers, all about data. But is it okay with everyone before we move on to the next topic? Basic difference in lean and 6 sigma. Okay, then let's move ahead. Well, let's talk about 6 sigma. What is a sigma level? When we say 6 sigma, what does it mean and where do we use with this? What information do we carry from this one? Let's quickly have a look at the 6 sigma stuff. So there's a scale, a sigma level scale. What does it do? So 6 sigma, when we say it's a scale, it's a number on a scale. It measures the defect of the process. So it doesn't tell you how good you're doing. It measures how bad you are doing. So 3.4 defects in 1 million. It's measuring your defects. Technically, Six Sigma level is a defect measuring scale. So do we have a 0 sigma? Yes. Do we have 1 sigma, 2 sigma, 3 sigma, 4 sigma, 5 sigma, 6 sigma? Yeah, the session is recorded. Don't worry about that. Even the notes are all available. So pretty much. So don't worry about that. So the team, Michelle will kind of come back and give you all the details about that. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's a scale. It goes on and on. No end to it. It's a scale. And similarly, there is a negative sigmas also. Yes, it's a scale which has a numbers on this scale. And I'll tell you, just quickly want you to know what do these numbers represent. So we have a scale which represents every number on this scale represents certain number of defects. It's a defect measuring scale. So one of number we already know, 3.4. When your process is making 3.4 defects in 1 million, we know it is 6 sigma level performance. That's when we say it's operating at 6 sigma. And as we discussed, that there are industries working at higher than 6 sigma. It is not the best sigma level. So when you talk about aviation, yes, aviation is 12 sigma. Pharmaceutical is almost around 11 sigma. Well, think about a situation. Would you be comfortable boarding a flight when you know that 3.4 flights might crash out of 1 million? Well, that's not possible. We will never be comfortable boarding a flight if it operates at 6 sigma level. It's bad. It's really bad because one defect could cost so many lives. It's irreparable damage, and probably nobody would be comfortable boarding a flight if that's your defect rate. So one defect is a huge disaster. Well, 6 sigma is a bad sigma level for aviation. Why there's so much of hue and cry about COVID vaccine? Why can't you just make a vaccine and give it to everyone? No. One wrong vaccine and so many people can die, and there'll be irreparable damage for generations to come. So these industries cannot work with Six Sigma. It's bad for them. Like, for example, nuclear reactors. We have NASA, the space programs, all those critical industries. Bottom line, what we're trying to understand here is higher the sigma level, lesser the defect. So bottom line, higher sigma levels are good. So higher sigma levels are good. So basically, why are we then talking about 6 sigma is the best, like, standard? Because we are learning this lean 6 sigma. Why we talking about lean 12 sigma, 11 sigma? Well, why 6 sigma is standard? This is standard for everyone. Why 6 sigma is standard when this is technically the not so good? Well, simple reason here. If you wish to improve a process with project management tools, which we learn in PMP, basically what you learn in PMP, you apply quality management tools, you apply lean management tools, and you apply statistics, the data part of it. This all combination of 4 things makes your lean 6 sigma. When you apply this entire 4 practices together, that's when you say it's a lean 6 sigma. It's a combination of 4 things. You can improve. Well, you can improve up to 6 sigma level. Beyond this, it's almost impossible. I wouldn't say 100%, almost impossible to reduce any more human error. Human errors will happen. We're not robots. We will make mistakes. Well, but if you are able to control a process that your human error with your manual process, you can get to a level of 6 sigma. Well, that's phenomenal. It's world class. You will be industry leader. But yes, if your industry is critical, like aviation and all, automated. You cannot live with that error. Yes, automated. Well, go for automation and take away the human error, and then your sigma level goes really, really high with automation. But do you think most of the companies will like to go beyond 6 sigma? No. There's a huge investment. Millions of dollars will be invested to go for automation. Well, most of the companies will not like to do it. If you're this manufacturer of marker, if this company is able to get to 6 sigma level with basic improvement, quality management, statistics, basic process, not massive investment, with simple investment, simple process improvement step, you are able to get to 6 sigma. That means you're just having 3.4 defective markers out of 1 million. Do you think I'll invest millions of dollars to save this 3.4 markers? Do you think, does it make sense? Business sense? Anyone would like to kind of, no, it doesn't make business sense. business sense will not prevail. So if you get to a Six Sigma level, most of the companies, 99.99% companies will not go beyond Six Sigma. Purposefully, willfully, they would not like to do it because business logic will not allow you. What is the cost of defect? Nothing. But the cost of implementation will be huge. So Six Sigma happens to be a standard because beyond that, generally you need automation and millions of dollars will be spent. At Zero Sigma level, we have 50% defect rate. Well, you don't have to memorize these numbers at least because we know how to calculate. We will learn about how to calculate all this stuff. So when your defect rate is 50%, you are at Zero Sigma level. There are two types of Sigma level, something called, we'll talk about in a moment, ZLT, which is long-term Sigma, Z for Sigma, LT for long-term. So our Sigma level long-term is 0 and our Sigma level short-term, the two types of Sigma level is 1.5. So there is a difference of 1.5 between these. Short-term is higher than by 1.5. So we'll talk about that. The reason why I'm talking about this is if your defect rate is higher than 50%, Sigma level will be negative. So whenever your defect rate is higher than 50%, by default, your Sigma will get into negative. So bottom line, higher defects, higher the defect rate, lesser the Sigma level. So it's inverse. High defects, less Sigma level. Low defects, higher Sigma level. It's inverse relationship between them. So the big question is, do we know how to calculate Sigma levels? And trust there are so many different ways of calculating Sigma level. And given the scope of a yellow belt, we can't go for every possible way because that needs a lot of understanding of statistics and all, and that needs a lot of investment in terms of time. So but yes, I will still tell you. So there's a manual method, there's a formula-based method, there's a Minitab-based method, a lot of ways, and we explore all those methods. But given a yellow belt scope, I can tell you one formula, which is we can quickly, yes, the sessions are being recorded. So Michelle will be giving you all the details. Even the notes are also well before. So I do prepare notes to make sure it's circulated with everyone. So whoever wants it. So Michelle will give you all the details. Session is being recorded and the notes are always prepared. So I'll do share those notes. All right. So let's quickly check this out, Sigma level. And trust, this is one of the method of calculating Sigma level. And there are so many other methods and we explore all possible methods. But for now, let's say a defect rate. Somebody gives me a defect rate and wants to know at so-and-so defect rate, what will be the Sigma level. So there are two types of Sigma level. As I said, there's something called long-term Sigma, which is long-term Sigma level. And there's something called short-term Sigma level, ZST, which is short-term Sigma level. Now, first thing first, this is technically the actual Sigma level. This is used for communication, and reports. So whenever you see people sending out reports, talking about Sigma levels, they will always talk about this Sigma level, which is current Sigma level. The recording, so the sessions are being recorded, the notes are, so the sessions are recorded for distribution only, and the notes is also there. So practically this, so Michelle will be kind of talking about this in the end and will be kind of giving you the details of that. So practically this is there. Z is for the Sigma level. The Z part is Sigma level, L for long term, and ST for short term. So Z is for Sigma level. So don't share your email IDs. So she will kind of pitch in, and I'm sure will give all the details. So what's the formula here? It's inbuilt formula in everyone's Excel. So I'm going to write down the formula here, which is in everyone's Excel, equal to norm sin V 1 minus defects divided by total, close the bracket. And how this is calculated, please don't share your email IDs here. So we'll post this, like Michelle will kind of share all the details, how to probably they will be connecting with you all. So they will be able to give you the details. So basically, given the scope and the time here, we may not be able to get into the difference of the long term and short term, because again, that needs a background of statistics. But see, the formula will not change. This is how it's done. So there is a difference of 1.5 between long term and short term. This is what is used for communication. Anyone who will talk about Sigma level, any report which will be shared with the management will be about this Sigma level. So let's do some calculations here. roughly say hypothetically, one of my team members says, well, 17% defect rate. What is the sigma level? Well, let's calculate this. So I'm using the same formula, norm sin V, 1 minus, what is defect? 17%. So 17 out of 100. 17% is 17 out of 100. That's my long-term sigma level, which will now be reported as plus 1.5. So I will say at 17% defect rate, my process is working at 2.45 sigma level. That's my sigma level for my process at 17% defect rate. Well, let's say take 6 sigma. We say 6 sigma 3.4 defects per million, right? That's what we said, 6 sigma level. Let's validate that. Norm sin V, 1 minus 3.4 defect in 1 million. So defects out of total. That's 4.4999, and this is to convert that. This is your 6 sigma level. So when people say 6 sigma level is 3.4 defects per million, it's 6 sigma. It's always the current sigma. This is what is used. So short term is used for reports, communication. Say for example, I did some audit. During my audit, I found, like say some random, this many defects out of say these many items I audited. Some random numbers. What is the sigma level for this? So let's calculate, well, same formula, norm sin V, 1 minus 1658 divided by 45642, 642, just, and plus 1.5. Say, I want to track my office reporting time sigma level. Office reporting time sigma level, say I was late 4 days. I was late out of 30 days. 30 days. What's my sigma level for office reporting timing? With norm sin V, 1 minus 4 defects, 4 days late out of 30. Sigma level for office reporting timing, which will be reported as your, based on 4 defects, 4 late days out of 30 days, your office reporting timing is at 2.61 sigma level. Well, let's look at one more negative sigma just to get an idea. There's a negative sigma also. So beyond 50% defect, there's a negative sigma. Norm sin V, 1 minus 65% out of 100. That's negative sign. Look at this, minus 0.38, but will be reported as the sigma level. So bottom line, this is only one method. There are manual methods, there are formula-based methods, there are like mini-tab based methods. A lot of ways how you calculate sigma level. This is just one of the method which is easy and can be communicated and discussed right now, because there's a lot of things we needs to be discussed, because that needs a lot of time for that, because there's a difference between long-term and short-term. Why there's 2 different sigma levels, why this is actual and why this is communication, why we adding 1.5 to this. There are a lot of things, but bottom line, that's more about explanation, but answer is 100% correct, but that's how it is done. 1.5, basically, see, it's a change in the sigma level. So when you talk about a process which is at current level right now, this 1.5 is a fixed constant value which is used to differentiate between long-term and short-term. So current process levels will over a period of time deteriorate to this level. So there is a reasoning that takes like this, almost like a 30 minutes long conversation only around that topic. But yes, almost you can say that every process which is operating at a higher sigma level will deteriorate with time and will get to this level of sigma, where the loss of sigma level will be about 1.5. So it's a calculation. Yes, it will come from statistical stuff. Yes, there is but that 1.5 is a fixed constant. Always 1.5 is a fixed constant. Yes, the explanation has all that reasoning about normal distribution and all that. So we discuss that later, like pretty much when you get into the background has to be there for statistics. But yeah, the answer will not change. Explanation is there because today what is operating at a higher sigma level will deteriorate with time. By time, everything deteriorates, and the drop in the sigma level will be about 1.5. So a fixed difference is about 1.5 between the current and the new. This is the current sigma level, this is long term. But all in all, that's how sigma level is calculated. Is it okay with everyone? Are we okay for the calculation part here?
So defect means rework considered as a defect, or?
Absolutely. Yes, whatever you count as defect. So anything which is not okay will be defect. Rework, definitely yes. Okay. Definitely yes. Yeah, definitely yes. You will count that as a defect. Now talking about Six Sigma, when we implement Six Sigma, we'll just try to go and just see these are basic formulas which are there. We will be kind of trying to make sure that these things basically are practiced, because you need to have a like big background today, giving in mindset more of a yellow belt portion, which is more of an overview, but we're trying to still touch base on those areas which will sort of help you to understand. It's more about formula driven, it's more about data driven, calculations will be involved in Six Sigma, and trust, it's very interesting and you will be able to relate in real world situations. So we'll just try to go and make sure we will so what does it will help you to kind of compare different processes. So one process, say, can I compare an HR department with an operations department? Should I be doing it as a business owner? Probably comparing HR with finance, with quality and training. Should I be comparing which is my best department?
No.
But ideally we can. Yes, because they have different job roles, different KRAs, but Sigma level will help you come up with a universal scale of measurement where you can compare things which are not comparable. Well, because they are different job roles for different people, operation has different targets, operation has quality has a different target, training has a different target, finance has a different target, different job role, different targets. But so you can't compare apple with oranges. It's not possible. But when you get a Sigma level, that becomes a universal metric where decision making becomes easier. And you can find, so there are a lot of usage of Sigma levels. You can get into prediction capability also. So that's what we get into the Six Sigma, the green belt and black belt, where you can derive a lot of things. You can understand what my process is capable of doing also. A lot of things can be understood. So this is the initial bit of it. So we just talked about the initial part of it. Obviously, a lot more to learn in this one. Just the initial part. So when we talk about implementing Six Sigma, there's a DMAC framework is what was actually implemented. Now DMAC is define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So Six Sigma works in 5 different phases, or you can say stages of Six Sigma. So what do we do in define phase? We select the right project. We select the right project. Well, as an organization, there could be multiple challenges. Quality, compliances, legal stuff, there could be handling time, attrition, there could be multiple problems in an organization. You cannot solve world's hunger in one day. You can't solve all the problems. So you have to select the right project. You have limited budget, limited resource, limited time. You have to select the right project. And that's when you use project management skills. So project management skills will be required in the first part. So people who come from project management background or the PMP related material is taught in the defined phase of Six Sigma. So Six Sigma people are more likely to crack PMP exam because all that we learn is a project. And Six Sigma is a project. Project management is all about project. So you get more idea in Six Sigma other than just the project part of it. But yeah, that's what we do is first thing is all about project management. When you've selected the project, you selected the problem to fix in the project, you collect reliable data for analysis. So here we use quality management, tools and techniques, and statistics comes into picture. Data part comes into picture. In analyze phase, you apply statistical tests to find the real root cause, which is hidden, what we're not able to find out, why the problem is happening. I don't know. That we will be able to figure out by applying the statistical tests. And that's when the quality management and statistics again comes into picture. Every project will have a target, cost target, quality target. So achieve the target with, again, that involves quality management and statistics. And the last phase is control phase, which is when we say control phase is all about sustain the improvement. Well, the best part about Six Sigma is that when you improve something, it will never go back to its original shape. It will stay improved. Well, typical traditional projects will improve, and slowly, gradually, they start declining and you start seeing the problem. Not in Six Sigma. Six Sigma works in step ladder approach. Improve and then control. Sustain the phase. This process is now locked and controlled statistically. This DNA of the process is changed. Technically, the process gets frozen at this level. So that's when the control phase is active. Well, the process will not fall back here. Why? Because the process has gone into extreme statistical control. Pick up a new project, improve, and then sustain it. Sustain this level. Now the process is locked at this level, statistically controlled at this level. It's not going to fall here. Now, congratulations, pick up a new project, improve, and then sustain. So it always goes in a step ladder approach, sequential projects, and it takes your process for improvement, but a reliable improvement, which is not going to fall back. And that's the beauty of Lean Six Sigma project. Now, while you do deal with this different stages of Six Sigma, we do deal with a lot of tools and techniques. Having said that, there are some basic ones and some are advanced ones. So technically, when we talk about basic ones, are 7 quality control tools. So 7 quality control tools is the basic ones, which I'll say, not I would say basic, but level 1, I would say level 1 of tools which we use. And the more advanced ones are the ones which we use, the statistical tests. So I'll just quickly show you. So these are the so this we can't cover, obviously, because statistical part is not covered, but 7 quality tools, I'll quickly cover up all those tools right away. So we understand what is used, but this is level 1 of analysis. Level 2 will be complicated, definitely for now, but let me quickly show it to you. All these data sets that we're looking at has all those tools actually used in some shape or form. Let's quickly talk about, let me quickly show it to you some sample project here. So these are all analysis part here, various analysis. That's where the sigma level part. So you look at the sigma level, long term, short term is calculated, Minitab based calculation is done. So all that sigma level calculation is done here. So this is the ANOVA test, 2 sample T test, ANOVA test, 2 sample T correlation. Different tests will be performed depending on the type. This is all statistical tests to find out what is the real root cause. I don't know. The data will help me figure out. And by application of the test, you will exactly know, not my gut feeling, exactly what is causing the problem. So you know exactly what is causing the problem can be solved. So you apply the statistical test and you figure out exactly what is causing the problem. And 7 quality tools are used as supplementary tools to kind of, you can say level 1 and level 2 of testing. So what are those 7 quality tools? Let's quickly talk about them and discuss them. So these are the 7 quality tools. I'll just quickly start working on it and I'll start explaining them also. So histogram is what we first will talk about. What is histogram? Let's understand it. So histogram, I'll go back and pick up data. I'll use Minitab. I say we use Minitab as a primary tool because that's what you will be expected to know in real world. So let's understand this. What is the application of Minitab here? So it's average handling time data for a process. So this could be cost, time, sales, whatever you may be dealing with. And I want to solve this. Time is a business metric which we want to control in this process. So if I make a histogram, what is histogram? I go to graph here, I go to histogram, and I want to see the graph details. So there's options to look at it. I'll use width fit, so it gives me proper shape of the data. And what do you want to analyze? The histogram, the average handling time data, and it creates a histogram for me. Let's quickly see that. So all the output of Minitab is editable, transferable, wherever you want to. So that's what histogram has been created. When you look at a histogram, it plots the data graphically, where it tells you where is the center of data, average of the data, where is that somewhere. So if I look at this, average of the data is somewhere around 18, somewhere 18. That's what it tells me. If I look at the histogram, it tells me how low your process can go, how high your process can go. Helps you to understand the variation in the process. That's a normal distribution, yes. So it helps me to find out where the center of data, how much of fluctuation can happen, lows and highs of the process. So histogram even was used in sigma level calculation. You saw that image when we did a histogram sigma level calculation. That's where also histogram was used. So histogram is used to understand the various attributes of data, to know the center of the data, the variation in the data, to know the sigma level of the data. Histogram is used. And this is not just one version. There's a lot more details about histogram, which is understood when you go through various tests which are there applicable. This is one test after which you don't need to do anything about histogram. This is what called prediction capability also. So all that information is given, all that same data has been given, your average, your standard deviation, your variance, a lot of information is available, prediction, future capabilities, how low your process can go, how high your process can go, a lot of details. And pretty much we need to understand the basics of statistics to understand all this stuff. But bottom line, histogram is the very minimum statistical test that you will be starting with. So histogram helps to find the mean, which is the center, average of the data, the center of data. It helps us to find variation in the data, which we refer as standard deviation, which is lows and highs of the data. Basically, how much of variation is expected. To find sigma level of the process, we need histogram. So histogram is bare minimum information that we'll always use. Now, what is a check sheet? Well, check sheet is basically like to make a histogram, you need to collect data. So you need to collect data somewhere for analysis. That somewhere, that template or tracker or format is check sheet. Check sheet we all have used in our real world. We use attendance, we use audit sheets. Any kind of template is a where you collect data is a check sheet. So we have been using attendance sheet, log sheets, any kind of sheets. If you look at histogram check sheet, this is one of the check sheet. You can customize your own check sheet. A to-do list is a check sheet. Bottom line, you collect information through various templates, and your template can be designed by you how you need data to be collected. You create your own check sheet, doesn't matter. Bottom line, you need, this is also check sheet. You can collect data. So all this is a check sheet. There's a template in which you need to collect data, a format in which you'll be recording data. That's when the check sheet comes in the picture. Talking about flowchart, when do I use the flowchart? Flowcharts will be used for finding waste in the process when we use flowcharts. Different types of flowcharts is used in Lean. SIPOC is a value stream map. There's a swim lane diagram. Swim lane diagram. And there are detailed process maps also. So we deal with different kind of flowcharts to find the waste in the process. And one of the most widely chart is this value stream. Use chart is the value stream map, where you quantify the waste in the process, and based on which you start exploring the waste identification, you remove the waste. All this is waste. This is inventory waste, waiting waste, all that waste is there. How much of time is wasted, how much of inventory is wasted, all that thing is calculated. So calculations happen here. You can't quantify things in a lean world also. So that's what we learn in the lean part of it. Now, Pareto chart is when we talk about 80-20 rule. Well, anyone knows what is 80-20 rule, Pareto chart? In the meantime, I can quickly talk about Pareto. What is this Pareto? Anyone knows what is Pareto chart can help in the meantime? Anyone would like to pitch in? What is Pareto chart?
%80 of the defect is caused by 20% of the
actually
process.
Problems or repeated problems.
Okay, perfect. Most frequent problem. You're right about that.
Create big impact.
Yes, absolutely. Making maximum impact on basically the outcome. So let's kind of understand. Let's make one Pareto chart in Excel, and we will do it on Minitab also, and we'll see what does it mean. But bottom line, let me give you a quick idea about this 7 quality control tools here. We talked about it. So the list was prepared. List was prepared by Ishikawa. This list of 7 quality tools was prepared by Ishikawa, but he was not the creator of 7 tools. He created only 1 out of 7. So out of the 7 quality tools, this list was prepared by Ishikawa. These tools were already existing. One of these tools was introduced by Ishikawa himself. So 6 were compiled by him. He used the best tools available in the market, which was available then. So histogram, check sheet, all available then. He just prepared this list. So Pareto chart was created by Wilfred Pareto. I guess it was my bad. So it was 17th or 18th century, I think. And this guy was an Italian guy. So this person was given the responsibility by the king of Italy to find out the wealth distribution in the entire kingdom. And when the survey was conducted, he found that 80% of the wealth in the kingdom of Italy was controlled by 20% people. 20% people were super rich. They were controlling 80% of the wealth, and remaining 20% wealth was with 80% people. Huge inequality of wealth distribution was there. But that's when the Pareto part ended. But Ishikawa used it for industrial purposes later, like centuries later. And he saw that this rule applies in industrial world also. Maximum problem will come from few reasons. And so this is a quick example. There are different types of customer problems, and how many times the complaint was raised by the customer, how many times this complaint has happened, or error has happened, defect has happened. We have compiled this list for last say 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months data for how many times this problem happened. So we copy paste this data on Minitab. We'll make it on Minitab and Excel both. So copy paste this data. Different. So this data is not in order format, 274, 59, 19, 43, not in a sorted order. doesn't matter in Minitab. So I go and make a Pareto chart here. So quality tools, Pareto chart, defects and defects, counts and counts. And Minitab gives me an option to combine and not to combine. I don't want to combine anything. I want to see everything. Don't combine anything. So that's when my Pareto chart comes in. So I'll discuss the Pareto chart after we have made it on Excel. We'll come back to this chart. Let's go and make the Pareto chart in Excel. So I go back here, copy paste this data in Excel, and then let's make a Pareto chart here and see how to do it in Excel itself. So we compare both the charts, one in Minitab, one in Excel. So when you're doing in Excel, you can't do it directly. You need to sort the data first. It has to be sorted in descending order. So maximum, the top one, second, third, fourth, highest cell in descending order. So when you're done with it, what you need to do is take sum of all the complaints or defects. So my total is right here. So we have total of 423 complaints or defects in the process. So we need to find out individual percentage, how much of contribution does the first problem make? So total. So 274 is what percentage of the total 423. So we get to know that this was 64.7% and so on and so forth for every problem. So this is 13.9%, 59 out of 423, 43 out of 423, 19 out of 423. So this is the percentage of individual problems. So we get to see the each and individual problem. So this is the contribution of every problem to the total. So this is individual contribution for every problem. Now we look for cumulative percentage, which is basically add up. Let's say cumulative percentage. When you say cumulative percentage, this is my topmost problem. Total is 64.8. The sum of top two will be 64.8 plus 13.9, which is total of top two is 78.7. Similarly, sum of top three is 88.9. Sum of top four is 93.4. Sum of top five, top six, top seven, and all till 100%. So keep adding up. So this is 64.8. This is 78.7. This is 88.9. This is 93.2. So you keep adding up. It keeps getting till 100%. So when you're done with this, pretty much I'm done with my chart. All I have to do is select this defect column, select the count column, and select the last one, which is cumulative one. I go to insert tab. In the insert tab, I can select this tab. It says insert statistic chart. I click on this, and here is Pareto chart. So I click this Pareto chart, and you can color code and do whatever you want with this. Let's kind of quickly have a look at this. Let's kind of make it a little cleaner here. This chart, we can pick up this one. Click on plus sign, and I already have data labels. So it gives me 274 complaints, 59 complaints. So this column has been portrayed in the bars in the descending order. And this is the cumulative frequency line, which is the 64 point complaint. Then you add up this also, it becomes 78 points. It adds up 88.9 and so on. So till 100%. So we go back and look at Minitab output here. Same thing has been in descending order, 274, 59, 43, and so on and so forth. That's what the numbers we have here. If I look at next 64.8, 13.9, 10.2, 4.5, that's what you calculated here. If I look at the last one, 64.8, 78.7, 88.9, so on and so forth, that's what you had here. So if you look at the cumulative frequency line, this line is exactly the 64.8, 78.7. So it tells me basically, if you try to solve this problem, or this problem, your effort will be almost the same. It could be slight difference in the effort, but the gains will be very different. If you solve this problem, you'll only solve 0.9% of the problem. If you solve this problem, you'll only solve 2.4% problem. But if you solve this problem, you'll solve 64.8% problem. Don't run after everything. Just try to prioritize and see where the majority of problems are coming from. If you solve, say, top two problem, I am done with 78.7% problem. I am done. I don't have to run after every problem. Every problem does not need to be attended at the same time. You have limited resource, put your focus and energy on areas which are contributing maximum. So these are my top two problems. If I'm done with these two, if I solve them, my 78.7% problems are done. So it's a prioritization tool which helps us to understand where are the majority of problems coming from. So then we deal with the Pareto chart. So maximum, yes, you look for less effort and maximum benefit by using the Pareto chart. So I hope that this is okay with everyone, Pareto part. So before we move ahead with other topics, so we talked about 4 things here. Is it okay with everyone? All right. So let's, yeah.
What is the criteria that we come that we have reached up to 80%? That's top 4 or top 5.
So basically it looks at like, so majority of the problems should be solved, would generally come from few issues. So we don't have to be very adamant about 80-80. So we are here, see the top 2 ones already contribute 78.7. It's not about in general, that's like said that majority, the logic is of 80-20 is that most of the problems will, the frequency will actually come from few reasons. They will contribute the maximum. We don't have to be very adamant about 80% that yes, we have to pick up only 80% to get started. No, it's all about prioritization, prioritize by count. So try to see where the maximum effort is coming from. But if you really want to know where is 80%, because based on Pareto or initial logic, we can still find out where is 80%, because I know if I solve this and some portion of this will solve the 80%. So if I want 80%, I can do 80% line and I can get to know at secondary axis of 80%, I can draw this line. See, here it's 78.7, slightly ahead of it is 80%. So if I solve some portion of this, I'll be done. It's more about prioritization. It just says that don't run after everything. It's not that we have to be very adamant about 80 only. No, we can, it's just about tells us that we have to prioritize before we go ahead. I hope that gives the clarity. Okay. Now, when we talk about this gentleman, Ishikawa, he only created one out of this, and this is the one which Ishikawa created. Ishikawa, this is also called Ishikawa diagram. This is also called cause and effect diagram. So as per this gentleman, if you're facing any problem in any industry, your root causes, the root cause that you find for root causes will come from 6M. 6Ms, which will be where the actual root cause will come from, which is actually causing the problem, which is man, machine, method, material, measurement, and mother nature. So these are 6Ms from which actually the root cause will come from. So he says that go and brainstorm with your team and try to find out why your problem is happening. So when you try to brainstorm, you will have to brainstorm on these 6M. So just a quick one, so this probably we have a problem with low productivity issue. So we call our experts, the process experts, anyone who's a subject matter expert for discussion. And we try to tell them the business problem we have, which is say low productivity. We start discussion. We only start with man. Man is about people related issues. So what could be people related issues? Like age, probably I don't know whether it's a problem or not, but somebody feels that younger people are more energetic, older people are not. Well, I don't know, but let's check, let's validate it. I don't want to be judgmental here. So somebody says age could be a factor, let's include it. Probably the motivation level, yes. Probably you say the educational background, probably kind of experience you carry, probably the your skill set that you have. So all those things which are like process knowledge, product knowledge, and all those things which are related to people. So people related issues will be all into the man category. When you're done with the discussion about all issues which may be causing the problem, so which are related to people, once you're done with this, we talk about machine. Like in a manufacturing world, my machine could be quite sophisticated that we don't use it, we're not able to use it, or it's too old, it's not capable to meet the expectation of the customer. There's a frequent breakdown, a lot of maintenance going on. That's machine problem. In IT world, the software, the system, the laptops you use, you're too outdated. It has got a lot of bugs. It crashes frequently. That's machine problem. What about material? In a manufacturing world, the raw material that we get, the quality of the raw material, the material specifications do not comply with the customer requirement, the variability in the material from different vendors. In an IT world, the information that we process, the security updates, the product updates, the information which comes to the process is we process. That's the material for us. The training manuals, that's what we are talking about with material in IT world. Method is about process failures, the standard operating procedure. Somebody designed the process for us that this should be a step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. The way we are following it, that could be the reason why we're facing a problem. Probably the method of doing it needs to be changed. So process failures will be discussed about how the process failures are contributing it. Measurement is all about calculation errors, estimation errors, forecasting errors, or probably equipment calibration errors. For example, we talk about, I thought that I could manage with 10 people. I actually needed 12. I did wrong resource planning. I thought I could work with 15 kilograms of raw material. I needed 20. I did wrong calculation or wrong estimation of the raw material requirement. Well, the equipments we are using are not calibrated. They're giving me erratic readings. My equipments are bad. So we did wrong calculation, wrong estimations there. Mother Nature is all about environmental factors. Mother Nature is anything which is beyond your control. So when we discuss, nothing is proven here. These are all gut feeling. Somebody, some expert believe this could be a potential factor. I don't know. No validation, no proof right now. We will do the validation through statistical test. As of now, there's nothing validated. I want people to come back and share whatever they feel is responsible. We'll include it. So cause and effect diagram we create. Minitab has changed man to personnel, that gender biasness stuff. So I'll keep it back to the classic version. And again, Mother Nature has a mother in it. So that's why Minitab is more conservative there. So man, machine with machine, we are tagging it, material with material, method with method, method with method, measurement with measurement, and Mother Nature with Mother Nature. What is my effect? Is low productivity. So type in low productivity. That's it. Done with this. Your fishbone diagram is created. So you can color code, define, resize the name, whatever you want. It's all possible. Color code. If you don't like something, you can do everything possible. Minitab is completely editable. You can edit it and take output wherever you want, wherever you feel like. It can all work fine. So you can just change whatever you want and you're done with it pretty much. Well, I'm not going to leave it like that. So, but whatever it is, you can change it and you can change out layout, views your layouts. You can do all that you can do in this one. So pretty much that's the fishbone part. Let's quickly have a look at one more thing here. Scatter plot. Now, scatter plot is used when you're trying to find a relationship, like relationship between two variables, two numeric variables. So relationship between two numeric variables is tested graphically using scatter plot. So what kind of relationship? Probably I would like to find out whether hours of study versus exam scores, are they related? Like hours of workout in gym versus probably body weight, probably speed of the car versus probability of accident. Probably I've got to find out temperature versus sales of ice cream, whatever it is, two numeric variables. You want to find two relationship between two numeric variables, you do a scatter plot. And let's quickly have a look at a couple of scatter plot here. So let's kind of talk about this scatter plot. I'm going to show you some versions of scatter plot, and it has prediction capability. We can quickly check this out. You can predict things with this one. Scatter plot with regression line, that will help for prediction part. Sales is my Y, which is output. X is my variable. Mileage is my output. Age of the car is my variable. Salary is output. Hours workout. Let's kind of check out some different scatter plots. So this is scatter plot of relationship between temperature and sales. So what I see here is when my temperature was less, my sales is less. At a lesser, as my temperature increases, my sales increases. At my higher value of temperature, my sales increases. So at a higher value of X, I have higher value of Y. So if this increases, my output also increases. There's an X and Y relationship. So both, this is a positive relationship. How I know? It's because the trend line here is going up. If one increases, also other one is also increasing. If I want to know, predict my sales based on temperature, I can take my cursor here. It'll give me some equation. If I plug in the value of temperature, I can predict what will be my sales based on the historical data. At a certain temperature, what will be a predicted sales? That's what we get from the regression part. Yes, somebody has a question. I don't have your name. It says Galaxy.
Can we make this previous diagram means fishbone you are making in a Minitab? Can we do this in Excel?
There are templates available in Excel where there are templates available where you can just type in. So yes, I have those templates, Excel templates, where you can just type in these, but you would not have that kind of flexibility there. But yes, you can use some templates available where you can type in and you get your fishbone done there. So you will have to type in there. So there are templates. Yeah, I'll just show it to you. There's let me quickly show it to you. Wait me one quick second. Data files, fishbone diagram. Have a look at this. That's a fishbone one. You just need to type. You need to type in these boxes, X and Y. That's the template. I hope. Is it clear? So you don't have the version to create it. You have to discuss and type it.
Okay.
So barring that, so when we talk about this relationship, this is a negative relationship in between this. So when I say the age of car was less, which means car was new, the mileage was high. When the car age increased, the mileage dropped. The car age increased, the mileage dropped. So it's a line which is going down. That's a negative relation. If one increases, other decreases. So that's a negative relationship. If I want to find out what will be my mileage of a car at a certain age of car, I can look at this equation, put the age of car, and I can get predicted mileage at certain age of a car. So these are used in real world scenarios. People use that. And there can be no relations also. So there's not, it's not something that always there will be a relation. There could be a situation of no relation where these data points are scattered. They're not going up, they're not going down, they're all scattered. This is an indication of no relation. Line is almost flat. So there's no relation, because if you see this guy is working, say some number of hours, is making less money, but this guy is working a lot many hours, should have made more money. There's no relationship. Because technically, whether you ideally when you work less, you should get less. You work more, should get more, work more. But bottom line, if I look at this, these guys are working less and getting more money. But this guy is working more, is getting less money. Similar work hours are put, but this guy is making more money. So there seems to be no relationship between them. So data, based on data, you could find what kind of relationship is there. Is it a positive relation? There's a negative relation, or there is no relation. And if there is a relation, you can start with the prediction capability with that. So that's when we deal with the this part. Now, talking about control charts are very important to understand, because the control process controls the control phase works in control charts. So sustain the improvement is this because of this. So Dr. Walter Shewart actually introduced these control charts in 1920s. They were copied and incorporated in Six Sigma in 1986. Six Sigma came in 1986. Technically, well, these control charts are phenomenal when you're looking at, let's quickly show it to you. This process data, one of the process data we can look at and understand why control charts are so effective and powerful in sustaining the improvement in the process, where you do not get surprises. When you're doing control charts, you never get surprises in the process. Let's quickly have a look. Let me change one value here and show you one effect of control charts. Obviously, we can't get into details of it, but it is incredible piece that we have in terms of control charts. Let's have a quick look at this one. So control charts, when you look at it, there's something called control limits, upper control limit, lower control limit. Data is well within the limits. This is understandable. This is high. This is crossing the control limit. This is a exceptional value, very high, cross the upper limit. That seems to be an exception. Understood. That's a high value. Why is this red dot? In this chart, look at these two values are crossing the upper limit. But why is this a red dot? This is well within the limits. That's why you need control chart for, because anyone can figure out of control situation. But before this out of control situation happened, it was within control. So processes, well, it's important to understand that processes do not become good or bad overnight. There's always gradual, small changes happening in the process, but the changes are so slow, so subtle that humanly, it's not possible for you to detect the change in the process. Control charts will tell you well in advance that something has started changing in the process. Well, please inspect. There's something changing in the process. You must investigate it. And so here it tells you there's something changing in the process. Please investigate. It looks normal. Life is normal, but it's not normal. It looks normal to you, but there is something wrong here. Please start investigation. Your process has started changing the behavior. So it helps you to control your process behavior when life looks normal. Actually, something has started cooking, and that's what we need to know. So control charts will help you control. So there are different types of control chart, and every control chart has a different name. This is IMR chart, is individual and moving range chart. So there are different types of control chart based on different kind of data that we deal with. So different control charts are there. So we go back and look at the control charts. There are different types of control chart we deal with. IMR chart, X bar R chart, X bar S. Different versions of control charts are there based on the type of data that we will cover. This is more of a control chart perspective, but the first chart is always the IMR chart, the foundation chart. So that's the 7 quality control tools. Is it okay with everyone? a quick one. We just have a very quick element left, and then we can talk about, we can move on. Okay. All right. So history of lean and history of Six Sigma. So basically, where did it start is what we need to definitely understand. It all started with, initially, if I talk about, it started with Ford Motors. Now, Ford Motors did not have their, like they did not incorporate the word lean. What they did was lean. Technically, when they implemented lean in the organization, technically the word lean was not there. So these guys changed the old system, which is called Gypsy production system. In Gypsy production system, cars were stationary, and people used to move from one car to another to make it. It was a very slow process. So people will drag their spare parts from one car to another. Very, very slow process. The production capacity was 32 to 35 cars per month was the production capacity. They changed it to assembly line concept, which is still date used globally by every manufacturing world. Technically, cars started moving and people became stationary. So rather people moving from one place to another, they started moving the cars on a belt, on a moving belt. And this increased the production capacity 3 to 4 times. So this revolutionized the production part. The concept of mass production started with these guys. These guys gave the world the new concept of production practically, which is assembly line. And then came Toyota. So Toyota sort of came up with this method. Toyota gave the world this concept of lean was introduced by Toyota, and these guys came up with something called Toyota production system, which is basically the lean implementation, how they did the lean implementation, which has all the lean tools, how they implemented it. And that's how the lean word sort of originated from this one. And while this lean was getting popular and people were becoming like crazy after Japanese quality, and that's when it was troubling somebody else, and that somebody else was Motorola. Motorola was going through a very tough time because Motorola had complete monopoly in 2 products. One was pager, one was walkie-talkie. So technically, the CEO of Motorola, Bob Galvin, gave a project to his senior scientist in research and development. Is known as father of Six Sigma, which is Bill Smith. Bill Smith and another person along with him called Dr. Michael Harry. Dr. Michael, spelled as M-I-K-L. They were given a job to come up with something called Six Sigma. Now, the they came up with this concept of Six Sigma in 1986. They announced it to the world that we have come with something called Six Sigma, which will give you 99.99966% quality, which means the defect rate will go down significantly to 3.4 defects in 1 million. And that was unbelievable. Even like technically lean, you could get 99 kind of quality, 99% kind of thing. But in that generation, getting this kind of numbers, well, practically it was shock to Japanese also. Is this also possible? Motorola was facing a tough time before lean, because lean was troublesome. Motorola was losing its significant market share to companies which were lean centric. So with Six Sigma, they regained everything. Well, thanks to Bob Galvin, he invited a lot of companies to come to Motorola facility, and big companies stepped in. ABB, we have Asian Brown Boveri, Honeywell, and Allied Signal. They were big brands which stepped in, and they incorporated Six Sigma as company-wide philosophy, and they reported billions of dollars in cost saving because of Six Sigma. Finally, the biggest change, game changer, like which came into Six Sigma. And today what we know Six Sigma is because of General Electric. General Electric was led by Jack Welch. He incorporated Six Sigma in the organization, and technically even till date, if you want to have a job role in management role in General Electric, you should be a Six Sigma certified professional. They talk like everyone in organization talk to Six Sigma from top to bottom. Everyone practices it. The 6 phases, the 5 phases we talked about, this was started by General Electric. The old version of Six Sigma had only 4 phases. When General Electric picked it up, they said, well, MAIC, all statistical, but well, you need to select the right project. So the MAC became DMAC because of General Electric. They were the one who added the defined phase in this one. And pretty much, I won't take long, but just a quick one, just an important part is different belts and roles in Six Sigma. Just want to make sure that we understand this part. So we have different belts. We have white belt, We have yellow belt. We compare green belt with the black belt. And we will quickly talk about master black belt. And then we have champion and sponsor. That's all we have to kind of deal with, and the end of it, pretty much. Well, this is more of a case study discussion. So you don't become a Six Sigma, so you don't become a Six Sigma professional here. So you just, it's an awareness training. You kind of go ahead and give an awareness training. You don't become a part of Six Sigma project because you have no idea about it. Just a case study has been discussed. Yellow belts are active team members. Active team members of a Six Sigma project. Technically, with these, they have overview of DMAIC, what do we do in every phase, overview of the 7 quality control tools. They understand the language which is spoken by a Six Sigma professional. So technically, you don't lead a project, but you're a team member and you work with green belts and black belts to help them with their project as a yellow belt. Project manager role starts here. So as a green belt, we work as a project manager. As a black belt, we work as a project manager. Obviously, black belt is more senior, but well, if we talk about the project management skills, there's no difference. Both are at same level because they have to complete the entire project. So there's no difference here. The difference is statistical exposure. Statistical exposure, when we talk about, this is low to medium. This is extensive. Why? Because when we will deal with it, we can't discuss now, but the different types of data. Green belts only deal with normal data. Black belts deal with normal data, non-normal data, categorical data, and categorical data of different types: binary, ordinal, nominal. Bottom line, there's no data which is in the world which cannot be analyzed by a black belt. Black belt knows everything. If I talk about a project duration, so duration of project in a typical world, average duration, not for everyone, but most project green belt takes about 4 to 6 months, most of them. Black belts generally take about 9 to 12 months. Exceptions can be there. Green belt can be 1 year long project. Black belt can be 5 year long project. Most projects, but typically take this much time. Role, if you talk about role part, they are part-time project managers. So generally, if an operations, somebody is in operations, will generally do 30% of project. So 30% on project and 70% of original, whatever the original job or what you hired, operations, quality, HR, whatever job role. So you're part-time project manager, you work within your department. So you don't work across functional in an organization. Black belts are 100% project managers. So they work with every other stakeholder. They work with 100% on project. So there's no differentiation between, like they will poke their nose in everyone's shop as a black belt. Master black belt is someone who's an experienced black belt. So technically, you as a master black belt, you don't do too much of work. Why? Because you have a team and green belt does green belt job. So as a technically 10 to 12 projects are mentored by them at a time. So you have a tiny team of green belt and black belt. Green belt does green belt job, black belt does black belt job. You do nothing, honestly. So you just monitor, you can just sort of give feedback, coaching, whatever you are into, training, and sort of act as a mediator between management and Six Sigma department. So that's what it is. So technically, this is where you end from Six Sigma belts perspective. Now, these two are management roles. So they are not Six Sigma roles, they are management role. So management role starts here. So we call Six Sigma department, people call somebody as a champion. Well, I am a master black belt. Well, this is a management role. I'm a master black belt. So technically, who is the champion? Generally, the project owner is the champion. Project owner is the champion. Who is the champion? Technically, vice president, say operations, vice president of quality, vice president HR. Those VPs will be the one who will be head of department. Head of department is the one. So this person has a problem in his or her department. They want a problem to be solved. So they hire you as a Six Sigma resource to solve the problem. And technically you take up the project. So approval of the project, approval, denial, or review will be done by the champion. If you face any problem during the project, the only problem, technically who needs to work on it. So if you face any problem, loop in champion if you face any problem. Well, because it's not your problem, it's not your project, it's the champion's project. You are doing this project for the champion. Champion has a problem, who has hired you. So if somebody is giving you a tough time, not giving data, run around, stalling you, giving excuses, do not wait. Loop in champion because it's champion's project. Success or failure is champion's responsibility. You are facilitator. Champion is the one who's the owner of the project, not you. Well, remember one thing, champion himself or herself may be just a white belt, just a green belt, a black belt, a master black belt, or none. You don't need to be a Six Sigma professional to be a champion as a vice president, but most of the champions nowadays are master black belts or black belts, most of them. So generally, I do teach most of those Fortune 500 companies, and I generally interact with the champions who are Six Sigma professionals. Sponsor is the one who funds the project. So generally, the CEO, CXO, CTOs are the one who will be the funding authority. Directors and all will be the sponsors who will fund the project. So that's how, but these are not Six Sigma belts. They are additional management roles with whom we interact. That's the belts part of it. So I'm done. In case if there's anything which needs clarity, please do let me know if anything needs more clarity here. Is it okay with everyone? Would request you to just confirm so we can kind of handle. Salaries will differ from brand to brand and different companies and industries, but salaries are high, very high in Six Sigma because they're expensive resource, very expensive resources. So there are different case studies. See, like, so I talk about the case studies. There are a lot of case studies, how people have implemented in different organizations, small scale, big scale. A lot of case studies are there. So we'll be probably get to interact where later we will be able to kind of share them. So I'm sure the belts part. So I guess there's certain questions which we will have. All these questions are related to the team. So I guess they will be able to kind of help you with this. So Michelle, yeah, thank you, Michelle. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you so much, Mr. Shashi, for your very valuable training today. Let me just.
Thank you. It's very
fix my
amazing.
slide.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Just give me a minute. I will just share the slide. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Shashi, for your very valuable training today. That was very informative, sir, and a fruitful discussion as well. Good job, everyone, for making it till the end of the session. We hope that you all enjoyed it as we look forward to see you all bearing your Lean Six Sigma certification. Moving forward, as a reward for tuning in and with regards to the special announcement which I have mentioned earlier, many of you might be thinking of getting the participation certificate as a proof of your attendance for this training. So instead of paying the regular price of $50 for a minimal amount of $20, you will get the participation certificate. So this is how it looks like. It's provided with the certificate number, the session date, total duration of training, logos of our international accreditation bodies, plus the signatories of our company directors. And here's for the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt Achievement Certificates. Once you pass the final examination, you will get these dual certifications, one from IMC and one from CPD UK London. The IMC Achievement Certificate comes along with logos of our accreditation bodies as well, signatories of our company directors, plus the unique certification number, which you can provide to your employers, to clients, and other stakeholders to validate the authenticity of your certification. Here's the CPD certificate. As we have mentioned earlier, that IMC is a proud CPD member, which stands for Continuing Professional Development. This is one of our largest accreditation body, which is an avenue for professionalizing learning based in United Kingdom, London. It also comes with a unique certification number, plus the number of CPD hours and points. Getting these two certificates shows a higher value, and you can easily convey that you have successfully completed the course. Both are internationally recognized and with lifetime validity as well. That means you don't need to pay again and again for the renewal fees. So how to get these certificates? IMC is giving another offer with a very reasonable package for you today. It includes the e-learning portal access, the examination, achievement certificates, which is the CPD certification and the IMC achievement certificate, plus you will get the participation certificate for free, and the trainer's notes for today's session, and the access of the recorded session as well. The recording is downloadable, so you can save it in your desktop or mobiles and watch it even you are offline. So whenever you want to recap or review this training session, just go through with the recorded session. So the regular price is $200, but only for today, you can avail this whole package by just paying $60. All right. IMC came up with this initiative to help out all the freshers and working professionals like you as a starting platform to enjoy all the major benefits of being a Lean Six Sigma certified. So I'll discuss to you what is the e-learning portal. E-learning portal, or LMS, stands for Learning Management System. This is one of the most convenient platform which is accessible through online. That comes along with the downloadable learning materials such as ebooks. Second is the PDF presentations you will get, pre-recorded videos, the sample questionnaires, the mock or final assessment is also there. Case study materials is also included. The good thing about this is that all of these are accessible for a lifetime. Once you avail the package of $60, you will get your own credentials for the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt. We will be providing you with username and password, which you can also reset from your side once you get it. So what about the assessment? The assessment is flexible within 3 to 4 months upon enrollment. You can take that any time within 3 to 4 months. All right. And the next one, it is an open book online assessment and comes along with 20 MCQs or 20 multiple choice questions. And the duration will be half an hour or 30 minutes. So the passing percentage required for this is 50%. So meaning out of 20 multiple choice questions, at least you have 10 correct answers. Okay. And don't you worry, if you fail the first attempt, we are still giving 2 more attempts. So a total of 3 attempts of final assessment, you will get it. So how to avail the package? To avail, just need to pay it through online payment via Stripe Gateway. And you will be required to fill out your name here, email address, the phone number, and card details. And once finished of the payment, just click the pay button. Once finished filling out the details, just click this pay button here, this blue box. So please check your chat box for the payment link, which I'm going to share now. All right, I already sent. Just kindly check for those who are interested to avail for this one-day offer. So please avail now and check out the link. So upon payment, once you paid it successfully, please send a screenshot via email or WhatsApp to expedite the process of the following. You will receive the email along with the payment confirmation. Second, the participation certificate form, which you need to fill out immediately because the processing of certificate will take 2 to 3 days. It also comes with the attachment, which is the examination guidelines for those who want to opt for the $60. So you will opt for the assessment and we will attach the document for the examination guideline. And your login credentials will also be created. Plus, the Google Drive link will be provided for your recordings and class notes for today's session. All right, just to give you a glimpse of this one-day offer, please do check your inbox for the payment link. So this will be the package. And please note down my contact details and reach out to me so I can discuss to you in detail anything about your questions related to the course, our services, and offers. So you may drop your inquiry here to Michelle@imcinstitute.ae or message me at +971 2627 2111. So after you complete the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt, many of you, of course, will be aiming to upgrade to Green, Black, or Master Black Belt. So here's to show you a glimpse of the sample certificates for Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. This is for the Black Belt certificate and the Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt certificate. Then after getting certified for green or black belt, most of you will be working with a real projects implementing all what you've learned from Lean Six Sigma. Once it's fully reviewed and we got the recommendation from our Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt practitioner, IMC will be providing you this project completion certificate. This is the sample. All right. And before we end the session, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to inform you about our ongoing promotions. We do have these interesting combo packages for Lean Six Sigma Green and Black Belt virtual class from 50% to 75% off with free additional e-learning courses. Or you can avail this, our upcoming premium training for Lean Six Sigma Green and Black Belt with free orientation workshop in address Hotel Dubai Marina this coming 18th and 19th of February. Here you will get an interactive hands-on activities on Lean Six Sigma tools and techniques which are performed by senior management professionals only. This is specially customized on-demand add-on session for top-level executives, complementary to the regular Lean Six Sigma masterclass. So if you're curious and interested about these current promos and trainings that we offer, just send an email or message me to my WhatsApp number so I can share to you the well-documented brochure for more detailed information about it. So here is the glimpse of the US dollars package. So don't miss this one-day offer. So to enroll, just kindly check the chat box or email for the payment link. All right, thank you so much. And I humbly request you to please don't forget to visit our website at www.imcinstitute.ae to get to know more about our services, our team, our accreditations, educators, international corporate partners, and upcoming class schedules, and of course, our excellent client feedbacks and reviews. Once again, on behalf of the IMC team, this is Michelle, extending our sincerest thanks to all of you for joining us today. I will stay here for a few minutes to respond if you have any more questions to ask. You guys stay safe and have a happy weekend.
Hello, hey Michelle, are you still here?